Downpour coming in from Mag, putting a lot of pressure on the backline. Rally, pulse bomb, everything being deployed to protect this.
Look at this. I open up the thing and it tells me I can earn drops though if I watch these.
And the trades come in. Canale.
That's a meme. Okay.
It's gonna be a cleanup now.
So yeah, these are good teams, and obviously this is a very important match for both teams. Are the volume levels good, chat?
Into this time bank for 1D100G to be able to come back to the point. Genji up towards 70%. It's going to be pretty much that last chance for a retake in Mag.
Are the volume levels good?
Before it even begins.
Okay.
Syndra incredibly low. Getting picked off here would be very costly. And Mag's looking to do just that, but 1D100G seem to be stabilizing for the moment. Genji with major ult advantage coming into this last fight.
Yeah, Crispy has this rally, and you can see Crispy's playing upstairs now falling back. Genji with the support of can kind of take this fight however they want. Mag pressuring for now, and actually goes with the downpour. Willis is.
He's so tanky though on Mag, and the rally just comes in deployed from the high ground. Crispy getting in there, continuing to contest this. But 1D100G are starting to fight through this pretty well. They need to find some kind of picks. 1D100G so low across all the players. Support seems to do.
Looks like a really good start for Genji. But yeah, I mean, they're getting towards the end of these stages. I think there's only, what, 2 weeks left of like these stages, so they become really, really important for these teams, especially for seeding or just making it through in general.
So impactful from Crispy as well.
Genji needs to win this. I mean, they don't need to win this, right?
Came in from Mag. Crispy actually
to make that part
clear.
It's more on the it's more on the lines of like if they don't win this, it's going to be very, very difficult for them the rest of the way, and that's what they don't want. And Genji, obviously, you know, they want to win. They want to be a big part of it. They want to go and do all this stuff, so they got to make sure they're doing well.
0-3 from Dip so far. One of the better players for 1Dip. They have not been looking good in that first round.
This is a tough comp to be playing Tracer into. There's so many saves for your pulse bomb. You know, the hazard can like almost one hit you. Freya can be a real problem. She's got high ground. It's like just very difficult to actually reach her and contest her. So the utility Tracer definitely going to be key. That survivability point contest is such a focus, but with someone like Exodio on the field, very scary proposition to be playing the Tracer. Both teams now heavy contesting on the high ground. Natsuki has swapped over to the Juno, using that floating verticality to kind of get some early pressure here. Brig can't join this part of the fight, so nice comp switch for 1D100G, getting them a bit of control. Willis continuing to put on that pressure, using the heal resources. Mag now tries to go with the backline, but getting flanked on just
okay, I'll turn it down a little bit.
Sorry, spike wall for the moment. Seems like this high ground control. Dip with that first kill onto her. They're trying to continue that pressure and take down Mag. They do force out the drone. Dip is incredibly low, but still holds on to that recall. And just full pressure here from 1D100G. They have so much heals to work with for Willis. That Juno plus BAP really keeping the tank alive.
Yeah, really well fought from 1Dip there. They get the Juno as well, which can help out in that high ground fight. And taking that high ground, they find a pick onto Who Are You early. Dip does a good job staying alive, and with point control now, 1Dip looks to get involved in this match.
Natsuki, Johan both in trouble, but incredibly low. The drone just barely saves them, but the counterattack way more powerful from 1D100G.
Let me focus back up now.
Already 2 kills, a third.
All right, so again, you can recognize both. You know, both teams are strong right now, but Genji is having a rough start on Well. Obviously, did really well on the previous maps, but Well is one of those maps that I struggle at personally, and the reason why is it's the sides of the maps that are just like they're so like you kind of get cornered there. So if you're not like one of the DPS heroes that kind of can take angles like this, you just spend your whole time running in circles like around the map, and I feel like I get nothing done. Probably a playstyle issue, but yeah, Hazard versus Hazard isn't uncommon now. Obviously, Winston was banned, so you're not going to see the Winston comp, which I think Mag has been playing a lot of Winston, if I'm correct. But yeah, so we'll see what happens.
He's climbing around this windmill right now. Mag finds a pick, actually. They have good positioning here now as well to put some pressure on the point.
Nice window, though. Puts a lot of pressure on Mag. He's incredibly low, getting barely saved by the supports. Now the pressure comes in by Crispy onto the backline. Yoham trying to dance this one out. Takes a little bit of poke, but Brig, oh, she just slips away. Crispy getting so much done in that fight. And staying alive with the help of Canale. That's a big retake for Genji. They get that done with only the bullet shot. They really needed that kind of a dominant fight to get back into this round.
Good job by Genji. They got, but see, here's the thing. Who's the real winner here? Yeah, and they got 69%. Right? So who's the real winner right now?
Done a good job. Who Are You? And a nice frag here onto Sidra. So this is looking like a good Genji so far. You know, early second round here in the match, but so far it's looking good for Genji.
Okay, so 1Dip has Ayari ultimate. Genji has everything. Genji's ult pool should lead them to victory. If Genji uses their ultimates correctly here, you know, outside of like, you know, a great ultimate from the other side, they should be able to control every team fight for the next 3 team fights. Doesn't mean they'll win every team fight, but they can control the pace. Who Are You actually has a really good aggressive backline play right now. Like really good. but definitely playing to live for now. And I think Genji's actually delayed enough time here to be able to come up with just a good ultimate. You're going to get a hazard ultimate from both teams soon, and then probably a window. It really depends. Could be a break out instead of a window, depending on where they take the engagement at. So, gotta go for a shop run? No worries, have a good time.
Downpour pulse bomb. Can see a big play from Genji here.
Big support ults now, traded back and forth. Bullet shot dives in, but it's not enough, and the downpour just pulls him out of the sky. Beautiful catch by Mag.
Yep.
Completely denies that.
Surprisingly, Genji uses all of their ults, which I'm a little bit surprised by, because I think they had the numbers to be able to win it to begin with, but like at the same time, one dip is still on their back foot here. Like, yes, they have Pulse Bomb, yes, you have Hazard Ultimate, but those are the ultimates you want to have, you know, defensively, rather than, or trying to be like like when you're the ones with the control of the points, what I mean. So one dip has the ult advantage, but Genji has the map control, and that could be the number one problem here. And when they go for an Hazard Ultimate, you might just see a defensive Freya ultimate unless they see an opportunity here, and right now they're going to Freya ult. Yep. Which is a great location for the ult, because now you're forcing like a bad ultimate. It doesn't end up being a bad ultimate by Willies, but like you force an ultimate that obviously has hazard, like you don't want to, that's not going to be your favorite ultimate to use, right? Lamp will go into the room. Great job there with the lamp and the survivability from both sides. Genji is able to survive a little bit over on the point and control it. It's not one of those guaranteed one-team fights yet. That's for sure. It's definitely not one of those guaranteed one-team fights, but it should be good.
From Kanale, pushing it back away. 1D100G, they're still in this, onto the Tracer Sombra, coming out for the clutch comp with the mobility here, and it seems to be working. Zinder has found another, so stabilizing for the moment for 1D100G. They're off the Freya, but a late kill on Mag would go a long way towards securing this round. It's going to be one final fight for the round, keeping 1D100G alive potentially. And Natsuki, 80 to that rally. It's going to be a game changer if he can get that online, but it's not so easy to farm up pre-fight.
Yeah, they really need this rally, because with Sidra over onto this Sombra, they can't take a poke duel. They kind of have to find a manual hack onto Mag or any of the damaged players and kind of brawl it out, and that rally would go a long way if Natsuki can build it.
Yeah, Dippin, who are you? Trading on the flank. Pulse Bomb going to be available here. Dip takes a bit of damage. Who are you? Wants to chase that down. Senses an advantage here with the cooldowns. But forced a recall out. Just didn't have the follow-up for that one. And an instant catch by Willis on Exodio. Punishes him early. Natsuki, 99 to rally, is going to have this online. Pulse Bomb,
ooh, good job by Who Are You. This is intense now. Who Are You almost brought this one back. Like, it's still even across the board with the Pulse Bomb from Dip. And there you go. Oh, this is a good matchup. This is a good matchup.
What a final fight, Johnny.
Wow. Wow, what just happened? How did they claw themselves back into that round? That was an insane play from Who Are You to get that pulse out and kill the immortality in field to secure 2 picks in the enemy backline. But Dip finds a pulse bomb frag themselves, and somehow one Dip wins that round. It felt like Genji were in control for most of it. And even that final fight, it felt like Genji had a great chance to close out the map, but one Dip come up clutch and force a round 3.
Yeah, both teams trading out backlines, but I think that opening kill that Willis finds on onto Exodio is massive, right? Because without the Freya, it's just hard to outlast in the long fight. Tracer Sombra cleaning up your backline already. So there's some explosive aggression from both teams.
On to my... I suck at this map.
Full swap here. Pretty heavy swap.
I absolutely suck at this map.
A much more pokey variant with the Orisa. I actually kind of like this look on the map. The risk is that you potentially can be run over, but Hazard may struggle to kind of get past Orisa being gate kept, and the poke is going to be heavy here from Crispy. But somehow, Who Are You already down? That's not a pick you can afford to give up.
A huge start for one Dip. This is such an intense match already now. We're seeing the Orisa over the Hazard, which is... Orisa makes a little bit of sense on this map, but like the Hazard can really set the tempo. Huge pick, though, from Crispy there, which is going to put it into a 4v4 situation, which going down one of the supports now. Willies has to kind of maintain some of this... some of this right click.
It's going to be forced Sidra finds a pick onto Exodio, though, actually, which might bring this one back. Just brawling for now. One dipping in control.
Yeah, it's a very smart play. So the reason why they end up just grinding down the Hazard there is because when you're down one support, especially when you're down a BAP, the only person who can heal your Hazard at that point is the Brig, right? The Brig, no matter how much Inspire you proc, you're going to eventually run out of cooldowns if everybody all-ins and no one goes down there. That's exactly what happened. So while that was a great start for one Dip, the moment they lost their BAP, that was it. Like, they're just back to square one.
Teams like AwCrap, for example, they like to play the Alori for more poke, and some teams they even bring out the Lifeweaver for more sustainability, right? So it kind of depends on what style you want to play. Genji here, they're saying we want to put the Orisa on the point for a lot of point pressure, and then we want to poke using this Alori from Crispy.
Yeah, and the walk-up is going to be difficult, right?
All right.
A lot of pressure being put on you in this comp. Tons of spam. Even Orisa,
here we go.
Pretty serious when it comes to spamming on the walk-ups. And trying to flip this point, you know, trying to shoot the Orisa feels impossible. Seems like you've got to get towards the back line. But Mag is going to be that unstoppable.
They get a window from
force here,
Genji, which is
your
great.
backline
This is
can
going to back up
Implication
one
Matrix
dip.
very defensive.
They're going to wait as long as possible.
Sort of the risk
Great
against
play.
This 1v100 G comp. You got to pop ults a little bit early. If they jump on top of you and overwhelm you, you can just get blown up out of the round. But they also can back out and wait those out.
It's going to be a really, really good pulse bomb here in a second.
Hunting and pecking away.
That's a ridiculous team name. So they, if I'm correct, this used to be Quick Esports, right? And then Quick. Oh, what a play by Who Are You? And the worst part is like the Brig just tried to get away and then ended up getting the rest of the team. Nice job. Who Are You's playing really well. It's always interesting when you see Who Are You playing Tracer. Because, like, I think Who Are You's hero pool is a lot better than some people expect.
It literally could not be worse. D100G.
No.
That's
yeah.
Now Tuki is going to swap over to the Juno here, actually. They would need some kind of speed.
I like this.
Recognizing they need to get to the back line. They're going to make a swap here to try to get close in on Crispy and Camille.
Willis with the downboard. If he can get a big downboard connection and Dip can get some cleanup dash resets, this is a winnable situation. It's not easy by any means, but it's not impossible either. Mag with the terror surge could be a very big problem.
Orisa ultimate.
And the instant downpour comes down in connection straight to the backline.
That's a honestly really good peel by one dip. I expect that to go elsewhere there. That was a great peel. But yeah, one dip is I think they were Quick Esports, and basically I think my understanding of it, and again I don't know if it's like the case. I think what they're just leaving their like if they end up qualifying, it would be like they would have to find an org that would be able to get them to land. So I think sometimes that's what happens is like it's a lot of cost to get there. So depending on what happens with these teams, I think their teams are kind of leaving that opportunity. I could be wrong, and it's just like, you know, but yeah, that's why their name's a little bit different right now, is because that happened. Really good play by Who Are You. I mean, what else can you say? Great first map though. I'm trying to get in the esports casting mode, so you got to give me a second. But that was a great first map. Like I can't be mad about that one. That was excellent. Yeah, I mean, I think you can still ban an honor or a Brig here if you want. Oh, yep, nope, not even close. Okay, so Genji bans Orisa, and then Ayari's banned, which Ayari was a bit of a problem going into that round, so...
They actually have banned Ilori a few times on Circuit Royale, so we know that Genji...
Yeah, I would say... Circuit Royale is an interesting map here. You're probably going to see May. I guess you... I mean, I say probably see May. There's no guarantee you see May.
So actually, I think if you're going to use it, using it on Circuit strikes me as making a lot of sense. It also
it could happen here. We're seeing the BAP Zen. We're seeing Lifeweaver Zen. I'm surprised to see Lifeweaver Zen as the option here rather than the BAP Zen, but maybe that's just kind of like an in-spawn thing. We're getting some Sigma gameplay, which I'm happy with.
More of a poke mirror, but one that I guess you control a little bit more.
Oh, fair enough for Latcher on that one. Fair enough. You want to see some Lifeweaver? Lifeweavers, this is the map where you're going to get Lifeweaver. Usually it's BAP Lifeweaver, so maybe they're going for like an early... Actually, didn't Yoham play the BAP earlier? So maybe BAP Lifeweaver is what might happen here. But maybe they're just like setting up a plane spawn, or they're just taking just sitting down and spawn on top of a pedal, just relaxing, having a good time. We'll see though. Yeah, I think you might see a BAP here.
And the Weaver's a fake. Oh my God, it's a double.
Oh yeah. My analysis is looking good today, chat. That was clearly what we just saw. Diva, Juno, Brig. I'll be real with you. I didn't predict that. A lot of teams, I've seen the Diva swap. I haven't quite seen. I guess Juno Brig is the comp with. So to explain to people, the reason why you run Diva here in the Juno comp is because you basically have your Diva get speed ringed in, or you can have your Diva speed ring out. Either way, the speed ring really enables your Diva's gameplay. It does require a bit more backline pressure, but it makes sense because you're playing against a BAP Zen, so like it's not going to be as effective if they're running the Brig or someone that can really like CC you. It's just you need to get through into their backline, and once you get to their backline, that's when you start wreaking havoc as a team. But it takes a little bit of setup time, and that's kind of what you're seeing right now. That's why Who Are You is kind of just holding card, and they're kind of playing around the map, is because there's a lot of availability that can happen, and Mag gets a huge pick onto the Brig. The Brig is going to... I don't know if anybody else has played Brig on Circuit Royale, but one thing that happens when I play Brig on Circuit Royale is I feel like I don't do anything for a long time. And you can tell by the ult charge, that's exactly what happens. And it's not the Brig's fault. It's just like Brig gets value from when they engage or from when you get to their team. And on Circuit Royale, you can disengage so much, it takes a long time to get there. And that's why you're seeing Brig's ult charge be at 50%, right? Even the Zen who's playing, you know, passive is getting a bit more of that just from that. And again, it's not on the brig, it's just how it plays, especially on this corner of the map. You know what I mean?
Maybe dumb. You see Crispy is still far back. He knows the threat of this dive coming in. Bullet shot being attempted into the backline. Connection is there. Dip with the follow-up now onto exhaustion.
Really, really good play there. Great job by Dip. I love the really aggressive play, because on paper, again, like you look at that and Genji should have an advantage. One Dip is like, we ain't going to give you time to make a decision here. You have you know, fallen back quite a bit. We're going to be aggressive. Now, I think Genji will end up swapping off here. And trying to go to point. What's happening with the hero swaps is Genji was basically the life we was going to pull him to get closer, and then speed boost, see if it works. Didn't work, but I think it was worth the effort of trying to do that. The window was just used, so I see no reason not to try to, like, you know, at least see if you can get the point. Obviously, they weren't able to, and One Dip takes a pretty good lead there. Don't be surprised to see Genji kind of hold him in place here now for a little bit, just because of the L charge that they have. I think they're going to get stopped for, you know, a minute or two here. It's not uncommon. It's definitely not as uncommon on this map to be held here for a couple minutes if you're like in OWCS or like, you know, and even in ranked games, because even though, again, they tried to solve the sightline issues, there's a bit of a sightline. Like, there's no sightline, but the high ground's very dominant, and that can cause problems too.
Can they bait some of these ultis out? Flux can also be a big problem here.
Absolutely. DVG, they kind of rounded that corner with the help of the orbital ray and the bola shot. So without those tools to kind of help you round this kind of corner here as well, Genji now in a great position actually to just apply this spam with the Discord Orb and the Baptiste from Canale. This will be even tougher for DVG here.
Cards rolling though. I mean, so far so good. A lot of pressure comes back onto Willis. The rally
Brock
gets bursted down. The help of the Discord Orb too much. Mag is low, but gets the drone. And Trance still being held onto by Crispy. Fight looks pretty good so far.
There's the ult in the air.
Being used by Willis. Wants to get the HP back in the mech. And oh, that was scary. That was close. Now Flux looking to punish. Goes wide from Mag. No connection there. In with the
again,
goes wide as well.
If you look at the timer, this was kind of predicted. Like, this is just Circa Royale on this map. Teams are really good at like dealing with it. Problem for One Dip is, like, you look at their ults, you're like, okay, they should be fine. The only way they can effectively make these ults work right now is if their Freya hits an ultimate onto the Zen or the Bap, forces out both their cooldowns. Otherwise, if the Genji goes in right now for a Blade, you're going to get a Zen ult. And then if, like, for some reason you kill the Zen, you have a Lamp to deal with, it's not going to be the easiest Blade. So, in my opinion, you just go for the Blade, get the ults out, and then go from there. Instead, what happens is they window first, right? Do cause a bit of pressure and get the lamp out, but now you can't push in. So they're like, okay, lamp's out, let's go in with Blade, right? That's the next step. Instead, and this is what makes Genji, you know, obviously a really good team too, they didn't wait on that one. They knew the timing, they knew where the ults were at, they knew what was coming. Their vision was just go in and let's get these kills. That was their play, right? And that's what you just saw, and yeah. And they get the cleanup kill. Still have Zen out. Close to another one. Addict Shoebox. Thanks for the 3 months of the Prime. So thank you, Hiimishie. Thank you.
You never know with the combos on Genji. Yeah, this is the orbital ray for Johan. This is where it really needs
key fight
for DVG.
Key fight with the ray. You can force that trance and maybe sustain through it with the ray, and then come back with the blade to close things out here. Exodio, though, could be the difference maker. If you can find a big connection off that polar shot, could be taking some of the wind out of 1D100G sails, and only a minute 30
All right,
clocks. They got
ready, set, Juno ultimate now. Go in with Blade right after if you don't get any kills. The idea is to get Zen ult early. There it is, but Zen ult happens. Right idea, timing was a little bit off. Don't get any kills, but do eat the Freya ultimate, so technically Genji's in a unique spot here where their Sigma's going to be a little bit up, but it won't matter, actually. Never mind, they didn't take map control as much as they could have. Now the Sigma's going to kind of hold this angle. They're going to try to all in their backline right now, but the problem is Sigma kind of can disengage with the levitate. Mag is a little bit low. They're trying to all in the Sigma, but now they're going to get if they don't get the kill, which they did, now they're going to window. The window will be pretty quick here, by the way, chat, too. The idea is they need to get their timing back. They're going to wait for the next movement here, and they're going to pop window. So right about now. There it is. People started to walk up, so they window. You know, on paper, you're going to look at that and go, eh, like that wasn't as good. The idea there is looking at what everybody else has on the team. You want to buy your teammates time to be able to go in there and get those kills. So now you have, as they get aggressive again, the Sigma can wait on the bash. There's the bash. Ends up being actually a really smart play by the Brig there. I don't know if they can kill the Brig, though. That's going to be the problem. And what was smart about the Brig there is the Brig didn't really use the bash right away to get the kill, right? And then when that happened, that basically made it a lot better. So it was very, very well played by One Dip. And again, it's not. Also, look at Zyder's ultimate after that. It's one of those situations where One Dip played that exactly how you need to play that to win that, and if they misstepped that at all, they would have.
Time is on their side. They put out the speed ring. Genji fully anticipating a dive to come through into the backline, which forces Kanail's amplification matrix. And that one big baited out ultimate might have been the difference that allowed DBG to cap out the second point. Now, minute 15. DBG, they got this orbital ready to go. This could be a
Here we go.
push
Are we ready?
for DBG.
Yeah, DPS also available for Genji, but kind of hard to deploy in this kind of a situation with Ray coming up against you. Who are you? Tries to strike first, putting a dash into the backline, trying to get now onto more, but they're getting so much pressure onto Who Are You. Just forces it out, but Dip responds with a much stronger
Nice,
play
good up.
and the Ray of his own.
Really good job by one Dip.
Punishes the
Okay.
aggression out of Genji.
What else they have? They have
on the ultimate
another
trade.
ult coming in.
And
What
Genji
should be
is
good
swapped over to a
here?
much more brawly style. And Who Are You continue to make the swap on a Tracer. The problem is they don't have the ultimates, right?
This
They're
is
not
good so
really
far.
ready to continue to fight into this.
Genji doesn't have anything, so it's going to be purely like a team fight without an ult. If this Freya ultimate even gets one, they might just win the team fight. That's exactly why they're holding the doorway there, to buy some time elsewhere to maybe kill. The thing is, I think they will get out of spawn. So the idea behind that ultimate was basically block out the supports in the top right, which I guess the D.Va stayed there longer, so they might be able to just all in. If they don't get these kills now, though, there's going to be a window coming from BAP in about 3 seconds, and then at that point, they're going to have the sight lines down main, and they're going to be able to win the team fight. They will window it, they're just going to wait an extra second. It's going to be like in about 3 seconds near point or up high ground with the BAP base. Brig can ult now, so you might just see BAP use the window for BAP rather than anything else. That's kind of what you're seeing now. D.Va's into the back line. Doesn't have ultimate, but they don't know that quite yet. They know that D.Va's probably close to ult, and very well played. It was good from both teams, I think, but I think that the way that Genji played this at the end, and with one Dip not being able to get a free kill, I think that was just excellently played. Both teams are happy with that half.
Yeah, when Genji built
I think both teams are happy with that half, at least in my opinion.
Over and DBG's best
We'll see,
chance
though.
was that spawn hold, actually. They contain Genji support in their spawn. Mag is forced to contest on the Ramatra. But you know, Ramatra is so survivable, just activated the Nemesis form, blocked, kited away. And that was DBG's best opportunity, really.
Alfie, thanks for the 5 months with the Prime stuff. Thank you for sharing. Thank you,
The
Alfie.
supports in spawn. They weren't able to, and that gave time for Genji to build those ultimates, which allowed Genji to hold. Still, though, if I'm DBG,
You're
Jake,
chilling.
I have to be pretty happy with that push, considering how the first and second point looked.
Definitely a good push. I like the aggression from 1D100G. I like them committing to their style. And Genji, like, as strong
I didn't
as
even
the
know
poke
Money in
looked,
the Bank was.
I was honestly really
might watch
impressed
it, I
with
might
how
not.
well 1D100G
Wait, chat, the
navigated
drops
it, right?
work
Like,
now.
They were constantly trading the pressure.
I see him
Somebody
working
pushes
right now.
hard, They get low, they back off, somebody else takes their place, and they were continually progressing that objective and putting that threat of pressure onto Genji.
I'll
So
edit my
that's why
title.
Genji
Yeah,
are
they work
dropping
now.
those AM matrices so early, because when the dive hits from 1D100G, it is explosive. You do need to pop
Just to double
those
check, you
ultimates
see him?
very, very early. Let's take a quick listen in to Genji, though, as they get prepped for the offense of their own.
Okay. Enemy too so below. I'm going Sheik. I think it's better.
Yep, let's go.
Okay, I'm watching.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm watching.
So the drops work now. Sorry, it took a little bit longer, but we're good. Like I said, Bailey's always clutching it, so. Bailey's awesome.
Sorry, Genji top left.
Oh, listening? My bad. I'll talk.
I'm
Yeah,
taking Genji.
careful. Genji disc gonna go. Freya coast.
Just be careful their turn, okay? With the speed and farm.
Yeah.
Keep distance.
Do you speed?
No shit.
I'm
No
on
shield.
my side. Yeah.
Walking now.
Picking up.
You just shield. Yeah. I'm okay.
Ram disc. Genji one.
I go free.
Yeah. Genji, it's right disc.
Bring her.
Genji the dash.
Where's the break there?
I'm not.
I bring Opino.
I'm killing him. Genji, but dash. Ram one. Obi, hurry.
I'm not.
I break one. Hold on. Genji the dash.
Genji no, Genji have dash, watch out.
Okay. No dash now.
Enemy, no tanker. Walk.
Yeah, I go wide. I'm stacking point.
Yeah, I'm should play.
Freya left side.
I'm should play. I'm should Genji.
Genji dash from there.
They use speed. They play D.Va.
Just shooting Diva. Diva disc.
I can see no dash.
Genji the dash.
Yeah, I'm going Genji. Wait.
I'm shooting Diva. You have Obi, Genji disc.
Shoot Genji.
Just keep shooting point. We have so much damage.
Yeah, winner soon.
Keep on.
Mark that point. Come clear.
Yeah. Watch out.
We're fine.
Genji look, 디발로 stay.
Yeah.
Genji on me.
Keep touching point. Keep touching point.
I kill Genji.
Walking point.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Watch out.
I can try.
I can lamp.
I try to get one. Let me please. Oh.
디바.
Yeah, one.
Just keep living. Winnable.
I kill baby.
Big ult. Yeah. Fair one. Let's just
Only
Juno.
Juno.
Genji's gonna touch as well.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, that was a long listen in chat. I don't talk during listen-ins.
Business from them. Keeping that threat from 1D.
When I started talking about how much toilet roll they use after a toilet session, true. I remember that.
And who are you? It's a nice
Good comms there. I mean, like it's
gonna make the walk up a little bit more
it's
difficult.
good. I always like listen-ins. They're really fun to listen to.
Really be able to hold on to this position for long. But Mag wants to make them fight for every single inch.
Yeah, I have to say, Genji, they know exactly how to play this composition. It was kind of like self-evident in the comms. they really need to communicate what they were doing because they know they're playing this poker composition. They wide swung, applying damage, and now they're just putting more pressure onto DVG while they're falling back here, trying to draw out any kind of ult, any kind of speed ring. Let's see though, DVG with a relatively clean walk up here, Jake.
Big damage from Who Are You onto Dip, but gets counter pressured now by Zidra. Now the fight comes in. Mag rips the flux, no connection. Blade comes out from Dip into the backline, threatening, but doesn't want to overextend into this. Knows that the drone is still there. Trance as well. Crispy continuing to hold on to that ultimate. Rally comes out from Natsuki. And there's the comes the Trance, trying to continue this on. Who Are You? Rips the blade, no answers left here. Diving in, taking a lot of pressure, but under the Trance, he's healed up. Both teams stabilizing here despite the lack of ultimates. Now 1D100G,
Okay.
maybe in the driver's seat.
Here we go.
Needs to get that self-destruct before he goes down.
Hydra does have ult
Yo,
coming
the
up.
way, just to stabilize, just to keep them healthy into the fight. Dip straight into the back line, going in solo. The counter pressure is heavy, but he manages to stay alive.
Okay, this is actually a kind of a huge take here. As I mentioned earlier, if you can stop them and then hold that corner, it can get really, really good. So this should be very interesting to see where this goes next. It's been a good series so far. Both these teams are pretty evenly matched in like this match at least, right? They've both been playing very well. Obviously, Genji is the favorite, but like, it's not. It has not been a stomp by any means. Even then, I don't even know if you'd say the favorite, but like, you know.
Trying to find the slightest of advantage. DVG
This ultimate's gonna, from Exodial, is gonna be the big part.
hold this defensive
So we'll see.
positioning. And then just out to brawl the Genji when they step up a little bit too far.
By the same token, though, the clock is running down. I mean, Genji, they're poking away.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they're poking away. The only problem is that the Diva comp can be tough here, so they're gonna all in eventually here with this ultimate. There's just no really good. There's no good spot for that ult yet. Is the problem. Good job there. I love that call out. You obviously can't hear the call out of what's going on there, but what happened was the moment that that Zydra hit the shot on Exodial, it was called that to go in. Whether that the Diva reacted to the call and went in, or the call was to go in, it was a very, very good play right there.
It has to be very tightly coordinated.
This is the first time you've seen Zen being played in this. Zen's played in Circle Royale. Gonna be one of those like first and third point heroes, not second. Unless you snowball or you hold the point for a while. Okay, Sigma ult coming up. Few ults coming up. This should be good. I respect the rock attempt there. Yep, rock. Here's a flank play from Zydra. That is a little bit out of position, so it's going to be dove in a second and then might fall over. Yep. Problem there, and I'll explain what happened with that play.
This is looking very unlikely now for the defense hold.
It's looking scary. They're close to support us, though. I think they might go for this. Here's the Matrix coming in. Juno dances away. The flux is in. A lot of pressure, but they can get back into that.
Nice pick by. There you go. This could actually go in favor. I mean, they have a Brig ult now. Go on the Genji. Nice job by One Dip. So what ended up happening there, by the way, is there was a plan from One Dip to make an aggressive play with the Freya on the side. The problem is the play never happened, so something must have happened where, like, there was a cooldown used, or like they made a different call. But at that point, because the Freya's already there, what can you do? You're stuck. So that's why that happened the way it did. But great reaction from One Dip, because now it's 2-1. I mean, like, it's 2-1 right now, and there's 30 seconds. This is last team fight. Now the good news is for Genji. Or Genji, is you do have a player known for being really good at Genji, who also just died to a Juno ultimate with 26 seconds left. So now you need to wait till the 10-second mark. And what One Dip is doing now is the correct play. Get aggressive, poke out some early cooldowns. Look at that. A lamp can't be used now for the next 20-something seconds. Who Are You is going to pop out now, and you're going to start to see the Ramatra get really aggressive in a second with Nemesis form. The idea behind this is to get some just basically map control for the team. Who Are You does kind of have to go for a hero play here and maybe touch the point, which is going to be kind of the one thing you don't want to have happen here. Brig does ult, the good Brig ult. You're getting double Genji ult. Who Are You falls over immediately due to a really good Freya ultimate. That didn't quite be, it wasn't quite shown there because you couldn't see it, but it looks like, chat, One Dip has brought this to a 1-to-1 game. We got ourselves a series, chat. Is today a non-3-0 day again? Because I will gladly take that.
Brilliant map from DVD.
I will gladly take that any day of the week.
They're showing the Brig BAP for now, and yeah, Exodio on deck.
All right, here we go.
I mean,
I feel like Cassidy is really bad in a Brig bath mirror, but maybe I'm wrong.
Did Gavin fix the spawn room? I don't think Gavin has anything to do with that, but he could have brought it up.
Pop a big surprise.
All right, here we go.
Honestly,
Ramatra versus Hazard. Okay, so we're not going to see any like Winston, which I mean, I didn't really expect Winston here, but I've seen teams try to force Winston on this map. So looks like you're going to get Ramatra versus Hazard. Same backline, different type of DPS here. You got a Cassidy on one side and a Frey on the other. So Cassidy's probably decent early here. But then the Freya, I think, will overall pop off when you get down to, like, the streets part, like, where it goes, like, further down, there's, like, huge sight lines and things like that. But Cassidy, maybe that's a part of the plan, start off with, like, a Cassidy thing, get the first team fight, take a lead, and then make the swaps later type of situation. I wouldn't doubt it if that's maybe what they're aiming for at that point. Because so far it's working, right? I mean, yeah, bunch of kills there. Got a few, like, stagger limbs there. Like, that's a great start. So, why Brig BAP instead of Brig Juno?
I think the Cassidy has genuinely
maybe BAP's just back more, and they're not really engaging as much with the comp. I don't know. That one's hard for me to call. I assume it's just because, like, Genji's playing a very static comp, and One Dip isn't really going to engage as much with their comp because you want your Freya to get kills. So it's probably just like there just isn't a team comp that would make sense for Juno at that point. Even though you could technically speed the Ramatra in, both teams are playing for picks rather than aggression. Like you're slowing the game down, and that's Runasapi. Like it's not. It's probably just it's probably because of that. It doesn't mean you can't play Juno here, but that's my guess. Again, that's just assumption. I don't know what the teams. Or maybe BAP is just being recognized as like a much better option now, since BAP has gotten some buffs over like the past few seasons, but like other heroes were taking precedent, and now with like BAP Lifeweaver being played more, people are like, wait a second, BAP's pretty good right now, and I've been playing more BAP. Great shots by Exodio right there. I mean, what else can you ask for? Obviously, technically you can ask for Exodio to survive on that one, so yep.
I mean, I hate to say it, but Exodio, maybe he should swap. No, he believes. He's like, dude, did you guys see
I'm still hoping for an Overwatch TV show. I still think it'd be amazing one day. You know, I still think it'd be awesome. Not getting one anytime soon, but man, imagine.
I actually think it's very correct to swap here. I think you
anytime soon. I mean, I'd rather if it was soon.
And it's a perfect time to swap. I'm impressed with Exodio. I think a lot of players wouldn't have, and this is for me,
but
like,
it just never happened.
Just correct in the Ramatra.
Especially with Willis swapping over to Ramatra, like you said, leaving the viewers wanting more Cassidy gameplay.
Pulse onto the shield, great block there from Natsuki. Yohim still
I still think they could. I still think Overwatch is like a really good cinematic year or like TV show year away from like still popping off even more. I still think that. I'm still biased. I know it costs a lot of money, but I'm going to be biased in that.
Mag does have a big advantage in the Ramatra, but dip the pulse moment of Crispy.
The marketing tool, okay? Marketing.
It gets heavily punished. Mag continuing to pressure with the Annihilation Born, but
is hero bands the thing on OWCS? Their hero bands are a little bit different than what what ranks used to right now. It's only one hero can be banned on each side, and like that's it. And you can't ban like the same like you can't ban like two tanks, for example. Like Genji can't ban a tank and One Dip can't ban a tank. Once one team bans a role, that's it. That's why there's protection picks. Where if you don't want to like have them ban like a certain tank, you just ban like a tank that you don't really either that A will affect their picks or just like you just do a throwaway ban.
It's a big day for
no repeat bans across the series either. Yeah, so you can't ban Brig 7 maps in a row.
Now Rally comes in. Mag's isolated in the corner, but he's
oh no, I've seen what Edge Runners did for Cyberpunk. I've seen what
pull some of this attention away. They're trying to deal with Mag, but it's
I've seen what Arcane did for League, like from like the problem is it's probably really hard to figure out like it still probably costs more than what they get, but like then like that like in the short term, but in the long term it might, you know what I mean? So it's hard to say how that stuff goes. On the business side, I have no idea, but I still, as just a fan of the game, I think it would benefit a lot.
too big of a task to contemplate in this spot.
So, like, just from, like, just getting, like, Overwatch back into that mainstream. Does that make sense? I think that's more of what it would be at that point, is more of, like, getting Overwatch back into that mainstream. Yeah, Fallout, too. I mean, Fallout, people were logging on playing Fallout 4. They had to patch it just to be ready for current gen, you know? So, oh no, I know they lost money with Arcane. I think at that point it's more of like they need to look at if it's going to be worth the long-term effect of that, where like they bring Overwatch back into the mainstream discussion, and then like why it won't translate to, you know, they're going to make $1 billion in 1 month. Maybe it translates to more people watching over the next few years. Overwatch is on, you know, people are like, oh, Overwatch, I see it in my Netflix menu, my Prime menu, oh, things like that. You know what I mean? Stuff that they can't track, right?
Is opening
you know what I mean?
Getting that
like stuff that they can't track.
Crucial to the long-term success. They have the ultimates to do it, and Matrix could be just the ticket.
You know?
You're quite committed on Genji, very far forward. Mag playing an offline, off angle in the corner. Pulse Bomb puts big damage onto the BAP. Who are you cleans it up himself. Now turning that pressure onto Zidra.
Fallout, Cyberpunk was one you could see in real time. Fallout, yeah, I guess you could see that too. Riot, it's hard to say. Yeah.
Forward and crash over the attackers, and 1v1 under G. Their push did not last long, Johnny. 18 meters.
I mean, also, sorry, we went on like a huge discussion there, but great job here by Genji so far.
Had a great series so far.
Actually, everything I've heard about Fallout 76 is it's a lot better now. It's a lot better. It hasn't quite hit like the No Man's Sky level of like Redemption Arc, but I've heard it's definitely like a lot better than it was when it launched. Straight up. That's what I've heard.
And it's looking like you're going to have to invest a couple of big ultimates just to hold your ground here on your side of the map.
Exodial went very deep, getting punished though. Yoham, Willis running.
I've heard it's definitely improved.
Now Zidra free to work on the map here, uncontested on the hit scan field. Has to deal with that amplification matrix.
I played it with Flats a couple of years ago for fun.
Now Mag in very alone, doesn't have any support in this position. Push as much card as
Galahad, thanks for the 100 bits. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. What are the drops? No, this is probably just the esports drops. These are not like the ones that you would normally get during a rotation. These are like the esports does their separate drops, and we have they've been kind enough to give them to us during these matches when we co-stream now, which has been nice because obviously I like to co-stream the matches, and I have people all the time asking if I'll have drops for it. I'm like, oh, sorry, we don't. This time we do. So I can keep getting esports drops. We're gonna have drops a lot. No complaints on my end, you know. What would cost less, an Overwatch movie or a show? My take, you don't do a movie. I'll explain why in a second. Unless you have like a planned out trilogy. This is coming from a World of Warcraft fan.
Making a lot of space in this offing, although needs to get help, needs to get some support in this position, but the rally is just too much.
Really, really good job by Genji here, by the way, the ultimate. So the problem is that there's just too much lore. So if you try to do everything into one movie, that's what happens. And that's what kind of happened. Like, I don't mind, like, for example, I don't really mind the WoW movie. I don't think it's like, you know, 99% Rotten Tomatoes, best ever I've ever seen. But like, as a WoW fan, I understand there's so much lore there. How do you put lore into like a 2-hour movie, right? So unless they plan on doing a trilogy of movies, TV shows allow for you to jump from story to story without it being like jolting, right? In a movie, you have to kind of stay with the story, right? Obviously, you know, there's different director styles, etc. But like, you kind of need to stick with the story as you go through there. You know, TV shows, you can kind of be like, you know what? We're gonna go talk about something else for an episode, right? You can stray away from some of that stuff. You can build into other stories. You can do a story, see if it's a hit, and then build off of it. Movies, you're kind of all in, and then you got to hope that the ROI can show, right?
But once again, it feels like they've won this fight 3 or 4 times, right? It's okay, you get it done again.
Yeah, even if it's a new story they do in the set-in, I still think you need time to build that lore, right?
Yeah,
and that's where I'm at.
DBG, they had, you know, 4 or 5 ultimates now.
So I think you might see more of those TV shows end up making movies.
The opportunity here for DBG, they're slowly, you know,
with the TV show to go with it, you know. So you have some backup lore and you have that fan base to go with it. Fallout's great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Fallout. This year has a lot of new stuff coming out. You know what I'm excited about? I didn't even realize that 28 years later is going to be a trilogy.
Dip just fighting for his life on the flank, seeing what he can get done.
So that means we're not getting just one movie. We're getting 3.
Like, they do not.
I'm pumped about that. Side note.
These corners, hold it down. Ant Matrix pushing back the attackers once more. Who are you in a little bit alone here? But Briggs coming in to try to assist.
Okay, so one dip is going for some plays here. Genji's kind of all set up. Huge pulse bomb that got lamped.
Drone is well deployed. There's no drone for the Baptiste himself, though. He's getting a little bit low in the front line. Trades coming in. Dip finds Canale. That's a huge pickup. Wills gets another.
I mean, it's possible for one dip to bring this back, so. What do I mean? The other day I read an article where they were saying that the actor was going to be in the trilogy, and I'm like, well, I know they weren't in the second movie, and then I looked into it. Yeah, they're making 3 28 years later movies.
Forward spawn means I think this is still a very profitable fight for 1D100G.
Yeah.
Like 3 different parts.
So
yep.
Will is there, of course, pushing the ball.
Which, I mean, if it's good, I'm not going to complain.
And the drone a little wide. That's a big mistake there from Kaneo in that fight.
You said the Hobbit
now.
with that
Genji
one?
coming
Yeah,
back
but the
with
Hobbit
rally
was
of their
like,
own.
the thing is with 20 years later, they can write their script and do whatever they want with it, right? With the Hobbit, they took a book that wasn't as many pages as, let's say, the other stuff, and then tried to make 3 movies with it. That's a little bit different, right? Yeah, I mean, this is just a long team fight right here. Sorry, I kind of got distracted by myself with movies and stuff. I apologize.
Somebody's got to touch this for overtime, and I don't think they're going to be able to. The boops can come in. D.Va just barely.
And I gotta go put the AC on again after this, dude. I cannot get the temperature right. It's supposed to be like, it's like really humid out, and I think I feel it up here more than anything else.
Getting back in the suit now, keeping it going, but Natsuki all alone. The annihilation too much. Mag overwhelms.
Oh, I know about 28 days later. I think it's great.
Nail in the coffin. 1D100G. Just the.
And there you go. Genji takes the second map. So, you know, again, it wasn't really close anyway for this map. For one dip, I think the next step is to go back to a brawl-based map. I would not be surprised to see King's Row. I think it's either going to be King's Row or like an outlier map that they know is there. And not as good, so. Okay, be back 1 second, chat. I'm going to go put my AC on just a little bit.
It's the ultimates, actually, in what people might remember as a bit of a questionable.
Verifier, is that the body horror ones?
But it was a full hold for.
Is that what I'm thinking of? If so, not for me.
Besides that, we haven't really
I love horror.
I've
learned that recently body horror is what the genre is called. Not for me.
They'd actually pull out the Pharah on the defense, pull out the Widowmaker on the offense, so maybe they got a few tricks up their sleeve here, Jake.
And it's the
because I also watched that other movie recently that was really good. It just, again, when it got to that point, I was like, I don't know if I can. What was that one that came out recently with Demi Moore? She was like really good in it.
Who could get caught in some dangerous scenarios
and like it was good, but like I just couldn't. I just found myself turning a lot because it's just that's just not my genre.
Oh, the first kill, the spear from Mag sets it up. I don't think that really changes much, but nonetheless, a nice
Substance. Yeah, Substance. Yeah, good movie though. Definitely worth the watch if you're fine with that stuff. The concept's really cool. It's just I didn't quite. Yeah, did I watch the new Wicked trailer? I did. Yes, the other night. Okay, here we go. So, Hollywood is a map we don't see too often, but we've seen some really good Hollywood maps in OWCS. So, yeah, I guess maybe the body horror that Resident Evil does is definitely different than like what I saw in the Substance or what I've heard like Terrifier's like. I think it's just like its own category within the category or something, right?
Taking some of that aggression away. Kaneo rotates over to the top elevator, under pressure. Big nade into the backline, connection out of Yoham. The damage followed up by Mag. He's pushed away, but he's still holding on to the side guard. Kaneo forces the sleep, gets the peel from the Kiriko as well. Natsuki bouncing Zodiel in the chaos. Still 3 players alive for 1D100G, and Willis trading on Devoryu kind of makes this one possible. Nade force
I mean, you gotta give credit where credit's due here with one dip. They're playing well.
This could be a hard point to continue to cap. A little bit of spawn advantage for the attackers. Kaneo takes some pressure. Really doesn't want to get forced to nade here.
Would I watch a TV adaptation of Subnautica? Yeah. Of course. Subnautica's a great game. I had a blast. I can't wait for that video. It's gonna be so good. Yeah, so far here, Genji's doing a good job of like playing around the map. You're gonna see this a lot in OWCS because it definitely plays a lot different than what people are used to in ranked. I call it the horseshoe strategy, where basically you think of the shape of a horseshoe. You basically play around the point like that. You see it on King's Row, you see it on Hollywood. Now, when you're playing ranked, you're going to basically just stand at the choke and just sit there, right? Or you're going to play on the point and just sit there. In pro play, it's a lot of what you're seeing now. You play around the corners for this exact reason. What game from the Summerfest am I looking forward to? Resident Evil 9. I can't wait. I'm pumped. I watched the trailer with chat this morning. Have I seen the perfection? I'm going to look it up in a second, Meredith, and I'll let you know. After, in between halves. Just remind me if I forget. Last musical you saw was on Game Changer. I just finished the Game Changer. Battle Royale one. The one that, yeah, I'm not going to say it won because people watched it the first time. But it was good. It was good. Oh, I can't wait for Silent Hill F. I mean, we got some horror games. I said maybe what we should do in the future, chat, that.
Walking in, it's going to be a tough
Maybe what we should do in the future is add another, what's it called? And Sir Galahad, thanks for another 100 bits. Appreciate it, thank you. We should do like a horror game session, because like I'm gonna be able to like the cool part is I'm getting my room have like cool lights in there too, so like I can start to make it like, you know, Christmas themed and Halloween themed and do all these really cool things with it, which I'm pumped for too. So like I said, stream room's gonna be worth it. I'm excited. I'm excited. Did I watch Final Destination? I grew up watching it. That movie's something. Good job by One Dip there. Very well played.
Yeah, that was a tough first point there.
I saw the originals growing up, and those movies were, at the time, they were something.
Here we go. Like I said, going into
But when I was younger, I didn't mind them much, I guess.
With the Ana, still very much viable, and they bring out Canale on the Ana.
They did cap. And now you're seeing the Winston swap, which second point is a very, very good swap here. And Genji's really confident in this type of comp anyway. And if you also look, they ban Diva. And you go, well, at first the Diva ban didn't make as much sense on first point, but now when you see the Diva ban, it makes a lot more sense. Because Winston couldn't be banned anyway. That was already taken care of. What this does is it takes away that 50-50 matchup and eliminates that you have two dive tank options right now. You got Winston, you got Wrecking Ball. You can consider Hazard as a bit of a dive tank, but I would kind of put Hazard more kind of in the middle of that. So, you know.
And Genji playing very aggressive here despite being on the defense, really putting
enjoy your
pressure on
computer
these
mouse.
attackers. You're trying to walk forward through the rooms here, but no vision on the
As you're a kid, yeah. I mean, I watched them all when I was a kid too.
As you
So
walk forward, there's always the threat of those nades coming in.
yeah, not a bad go with things here. Mag gets another pick. They'll probably back up and play it safe. I mean, I still think it's worth trying to engage on the Kiriko here, try to force out a cooldown or two. Maybe you get a kill, but yeah, they're just trying to wait. The Tracer is making the correct play there, though. You need to at least put some pressure on them during that without overdoing it, and I think Dip did a good job of that right there.
Realistically, you need to win the Tracer duels. You can put some card pressure on. You need to dodge Canale's Ana.
Yeah, here's the thing. So love everybody. He's been awesome. Hope you're enjoying the bonus weekend streams now with like OWCS. I think it's a good addition. Obviously a different vibe, less gameplay, things like that. But I've thoroughly had a good time. So I like the change of pace.
And so he's going to be very free to help put
I don't think what else I'm.
And even the score here, I think Zidra.
Here we go.
He's like trying to take the hit scan duel, and Tracer Winston are perfectly harassing him.
Huge.
Now with the Winston,
I mean, One Dip takes an important team fight, makes the Winston swap. Only problem right now is I think on paper, Genji should win this team fight. I think Winston's going to go in, be really aggressive. They might nano win and then ult, but I don't be surprised to see like a Winston go in, ult, and then get nanoed on the way out, and then use your nano as a survivability tool rather than like that. I think that's what's going to happen. Great play. Yep, and there's the survivability tool we talked about. Basically, when you went for the play, the nano was used as a survivability tool. If One Dip doesn't make that initial play, I don't think the nano happens there. The nano happens because of that play to help survive, because Ana can nano herself in that situation. So, yeah. The Lego co-op games seem cool. I can't wait to start doing Lego streams. Where I just turn the stream on for a couple hours at like 10 p.m. and just talk with chat and do Legos in my house. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to do it on my second channel or this channel, but part of me is just like, say, heck it. Send it on this channel. Okay. Winston has ultimate. You're going to see a Brig ultimate, though, on this Winston ult, so you need to try to survive it initially. Juno has to ultimate to basically keep the Brig alive. I think. Not yet, but I think it's going to have to happen. Probably going towards where the health pack is to the left of Mag here. No, high ground into an ult, maybe? Nope, they're going with the health pack ult, yeah. It will happen. It's got to go. It's got to be soon, though. There it is. Okay, it is. Yep. Pulse bomb attempt here. Mike just get a free kill. Doesn't get the kill. Believes is close to ultimate. This is going to be what extends the fight out. I don't know if it will guarantee a fight. It does get a huge kill, but they've lost multiple. Brig survives that. Winston now has ult. So now it's going to be about, can the Winston buy enough time on point? Answer to that is no. Does get it to end of second point, though, and this map is not uncommon to get through this stuff. If that makes sense. Like to get held on second. So like this isn't an uncommon scenario. So it's not like they're losing that, going, oh no, the map's over. We're so hecked right now. What are we gonna do? I think it's a pretty good spot on that one in general. Okay.
Find the window to go to a very comfortable comp there, and they pilot it well, man. Magon, who are you? Just hunting and pecking at the sides.
But not a bad half.
Opportunities in Zidra,
right? That was the movie. I feel like We just finished watching a show called Four
Seasons.
Seasons.
Double support
Wasn't
ultimates
bad.
from DVG as
It was
well.
like it was decent.
The rally was popped from Natsuki, Mag popped the Primal, but they just waited it out.
The Perfection.
They let DVG have
Horror
the bridge with the
musical.
orbital ray, and then turned on DVG. So Genji come out on top there.
I don't think I've seen this. I do
Don't
not
wanna
think
be
I've seen this,
hindsight
but it's a
Andy here,
musical,
Jake,
so maybe
but
I'll watch
maybe
it.
a little bit.
I have to wait for Liney to be here one
play
day.
from
Wait,
side row
I
when
know
you
this
drop down
actress.
with the
though.
boa
Who's this
shot.
actress?
I see the vision. It could be a huge game changer. At the same time, you were both 90% to your support ultimates. You had positioning on the high ground.
What is she from?
Is that a risk you really want to take, considering
Look,
the advantage you already had?
If Ana didn't have the double nano perk, it actually, I think, would have worked, and they maybe
Oh.
would have just, like, immediately won the game off of that.
Megan.
But, I mean, and so by the same token,
Right.
Ana, we're only 9
Yep.
nano, right? She just doesn't quite
Okay.
have it online. Maybe you just blow it out and win right there. So, you know, I think this... It's just one of those risks you got to take sometimes in professional play. You
I
gotta
don't
kinda
know
push the limit
on
and
best map
believe
mode
that
is.
you can get it done.
I like playing a lot of
Genji
different
thinking
stuff.
about what they wanna run on this
I didn't like
offense,
2CP
because,
as much as other
this is
people like
still a
2CP.
winnable map
I think I was
for
pretty
1v100
adamant about
G.
that.
They have
You know,
been
I was very
clutch many times
consistently
before.
not a
I
fan
won't
of
count them out,
2CP.
especially on Hollywood. First, second, both
Again,
very
I know
winnable
why
defense.
people like it.
So not
I'm just telling you,
terrible push by any
after
means from
30
that
whatever
attack,
amount of
especially
seasons
in
of
the
top
defense.
500 2CP, I had hit my limit of that because
Yeah,
it was
let's see what
just
Genji decides to
it was
roll
just
out
it was
with
just a
here.
choke
I feel like
that
this
you just had to
Ana's
get
just a
through, and then it was
respawn
just,
play. It seems like he's not intending to really keep it. Puts a bunch of damage.
Did
down
first is
onto
probably the
Willis.
worst point for Genji, given
This
they
is
have the much
nice,
better
but it's
Winston
also,
comp.
you know, just
Yeah, I mean, first
basic trading.
won't be
You're
as
getting
ideal.
some
So
custodial,
you had
getting
your
some
forced into like
trades.
the hazard
Way
comps. You don't
over
know.
aggressive,
Yeah.
so
It really
deep.
depends what the time bank ends up
Kind
being,
of a
right?
wild
If
positioning,
there's
and
like,
the
let's
punish
say,
comes in, Kiriko just
my
TPs
take is
out.
one dip in order to guarantee
I mean,
this, not
Exotial's
guarantee, but make it a
confident.
much better option.
That was too confident. That was too
I would
confident.
say-
He was deep. He was deep around the corner, and the rest of Genji was not ready for that.
1, 2, 3, as simple as do re mi.
So far, and, you know, let's see if Exotial can open things up
Andres,
on
thanks
this
for the
attack. Off to a rough
123
start,
months.
yes.
That's a long time. I appreciate that. I'll give you the 123
It's the
months.
pure
Thank
1v1
you.
tracer duel here. Who are you forced to recall first? Advantage, buddy.
I would say probably a minute 30 on the clock on first point. It would be a good spot for them. Obviously, they lost one, but that's okay. It's a tracer battle. Hazard is played quite a bit in pro play, yes. Survivability. If you ever see these tanks, the reason why they're played a lot of the time is just think damage reduction. That's usually why you see it.
Who are you wants to stifle them before they can even take
I mean, they're doing a good job of going to the corner here, but Who Are You's doing a really good job of just going to the back line. No one's... See, the problem is they're trying not to worry about the tracer, and they're doing that play where like, oh, no, don't worry about the tracer, and the tracer gets the free kill. It's easier said than done. But I think that you're going to see a kill on Freya here shortly. Yeah, the armor pack might have went out there. But now they need to go to the point. This is a very unique team fight. Woolies does get a kill there, and they trade out. No support. Oh, what a stick. Who Are You's been playing lights out today.
Surely this is
Lights
enough.
out
Surely
today.
they can get over the line. You'll have no strikes back. Who are you out of cooldowns? Is this not enough? Is this not enough for you, Genji? 1D100G are holding on.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second.
Are you kidding me?
After all of that, one dip holds it. And remember that time I said earlier that would be a really good time to be at? If they win this team fight, they're past that time already. It's about to be 2 minutes. Technically, their first point defense has been better than Genji's was early.
This Kyrie ultimate coming up very soon. Exotial
So-
maybe can find something with the polar shot. And
Kitsune in about 3 seconds. They're ready for the engagement. There's the hazard wall. Now you engage in because they can't peel back. They might try to get a little bit more map control before popping it, but they will pop it. If they wait longer, they might run into a Juno ultimate. There it is. There's the time in. Idea was right. You buy time. Now you Juno ult. So even though that hazard ult missed, the idea was correct. And what I mean by that is basically what you're doing is they can't push in through that ultimate, so they have to hide. And the Juno ultimate wasn't close enough, so you're buying time for your Juno to get ultimate. And now they're below that time I talked about, chat. This is that below a minute 30 time. So, has Mag ulted yet, or is he really at? I don't know if he probably ulted. I'm going to assume he ulted during one of the team fights that we missed. So.
Oh no. This does not feel good for Genji. It feels like you should
We'll see. Your browser audio level is at half in the volume mixer. No wonder you haven't been able to.
Great counterplay from DVG. Like you said,
Crispy has ult, so you're going to definitely double ult here. You're going to engage in with both beat and hazard ult. Probably lead in with hazard ult to begin with. We're going to come down to this. Can Dip get a pulse bomb play, or at least force them back with the pulse bomb play? And will the Brig ultimate be good enough to keep the tank alive? There's the ultimate. You engage there. Now you pop your ultimate to keep the tank alive, which is what we were expecting. Now there's the beat. As I said, they're going to double stack. You're going to see a pulse bomb attempt here after the beat's done. Idea here is to just force out, you know, how to use the cooldown there. Mag is going to back away. Does back away. They do kill one, but they trade out both Freyas. Brig's probably going to fall over here. Just a good pulse bomb. And then Dip doesn't get the kill. So the difference here has been the Tracer getting the pick there. Juno is Oh, nice try, though. Faye is low. I mean, that pick by Willies is very interesting now, because now Tracer can tap, I think, so Tracer can go on point. They don't even need to rush to the point. And you have a Hazard ultimate to go with it, so... I still like the idea there. If they can tap point, they might still be able to get an ultimate out, which they do. Really good shot by Freya there. May not be enough. Ends up getting a really low target there. Yoham's trying to survive, but as we've seen, the backline pressure can be rough. Still, though.
Oh my God, Johnny. Wow.
Yes, OWCS only does 2 bans. Still, though, not a bad play right there, I gotta say. That's what one dip needed. I said a minute and a half, and I think they would have been happy with it. That was no time on the clock.
To help out DVG there. That was insane. But Genji,
yep.
They got a counter lucky stars.
Did best case for that fight, getting the Carrick ultimate. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you on that. Yeah, absolutely. Getting the Carrick ultimate was like, it doesn't seem like a huge victory because you lose the point, but that's going to give you a pretty solid team fight right here, like right now. It's going to happen right around these marks. Yep. The Juno ultimate was obviously popped. Now they're going to be kind of even in the middle there. Now there's no ult. Now you're in the neutral for one dip for a little bit, so this is where they need to be careful. If they lose a team fight, they cannot give too much hard time. Or they can just get a pick, which is going to give them a better direction here. Don't be surprised to still see a counter ultimate here if one dip gets a little bit too aggressive, which could happen. There's a high chance they could be a little bit too aggro, and then what you do is you counter beat and be aggressive back on them, but looks like they choose to save. Dip does have a pulse bomb now, going to wait on the high ground. What Willies is doing now is basically just denying the cart. Minute 20 on the clock. You're going to see Genji. This is an alt dump fight, I think. If they see any opportunity for a kill, they might alt dump to get that. Willies does kind of get caught here in like this middle of the wall. Pulse bomb wasn't too bad there. Basically forces out a disengagement. I mean, truthfully, one dip is still kind of happy with this sequence. Win or lose this team fight, they've basically gotten the time below a minute, which means Genji is going to start feeling like they have to do a play here, and this is where it gets a little bit more difficult. So. Was that intro good enough? The one I gave you, by the way? Am I good? How about you?
It seems like that'll be enough to start this cart rolling for Genji. Cost them the bowler shot as well.
I mean, this is still a great team fight for one dip. The only downside is they didn't force enough ultimates, at least in my opinion. I think forcing ultimates here would have been a good play.
And now, depending on how they want to play this, they could drop the Kitsune Rush pretty aggressively if they want to go in. They could drop it on top of the cart and force DVG to walk into it. Natsuki needs to build this rally.
You probably want to slow play this, right? You hit 2 for 1 and you have rally. Yeah, I agree with the rally. Only concern I have here is
could determine the matchup.
You got to fight
when they let this engagement happen. There's the Brig out. There's the Kitsune, and yeah, this is good. They played this well enough. That is what you don't want to see. But that's been Who Are You this whole time. What a great play. Who Are You does get stunned out. Is forced into a recall. They do get a trade. Oh, I think this goes in favor of Genji. What a game, though. What a series. Hey, that is a great series to lead off with. Well played. That was really good. Credit to Dip too. They did not make that easy for Genji. That was an uphill battle the whole way. Yesterday, Lonnie's like, okay, I did a photo dump on there, and I'm like, normally a photo dump is, you kind of just take like pictures throughout like the month or the year, all that. She just took 8 pictures of Sully and Alone and put the Cha Cha slide song on. So if you scroll back and forth, like it works with the song. That's what she did. And then she's like, I don't know what to put for the description. And I go, I got this, and I just put Sully Bengal in all capitals. That's it. Just Sully Bengal. That's it. All right, here we go.
So you mentioned, I mean, it's not about the win here for Team Peps. Just getting.
Do I watch anime? Not a ton. Never really got into it as much growing up. Do I want to watch anime one day? Absolutely. I'm excited to have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of anime to watch whenever I'm ready.
Everybody else has to.
Yep.
So Team Peps will see if they can get something.
Oh, is it Bengal Sully? Yeah, my bad.
On the side for OWCS, so they're staying pretty far away from the meta. Great spear from Siad, though.
I didn't know what to put. I'm listening.
Has to dash out, and losing that flank control is going to mitigate you a lot. Lab to punish is no cooldown.
Now, obviously, chat, to point out here, AQ is the favorite here. Team Peps, again, I think they have a great team, a great roster. It's just somehow, every single stage, their record doesn't align as much as we would like. Yeah.
I'm a believer, man. They're really good at the Symmetra. Like, they have this great mix of poking patiently, just like spamming.
And I saw what you said about that win on that too. With like the like where like you need to have a little bit more, like not just have it for the win. I get that part, yeah, because of the flexibility. Yep. Did it Falcons or CR? I mean, right now CR has been better this stage, but I would not count Falcons out. Yeah. You heard that One Piece is a good starter anime because it's short. I agree. Yeah.
Genji to the backline. Nice cut down by Ken. Double headshot on the Landon. Is in.
I'll probably watch One Piece one day. I like the live action a lot, so great job by Team Peps there. See? Like I said, not a lack of talent. It just like it feels like come match day, it doesn't quite align as much as it could. Their roster's great.
Too much about that is Landon.
Yeah, that was clean Genji play right there. Beautiful. Gets Peps on
Ken
the
popped
board
off right
here.
there. It was a Ken
As we draw closer to
okay,
the first ultimates coming online in this series.
AQ's probably just gonna slow play for a second to get Kitsune. That's probably the call out. Like take a little bit of poke. I got Kitsune in 3%. Okay, you ready? I got Kitsune. Almost have Kitsune. All right, setting up. Is everybody ready? All right, let's pop it. There it is. And there's your play.
Gonna speed up in that TP to the high ground. Instant Kitsune rush as well.
Yep.
Putting Team Peps on the back foot. They're bending but not breaking here. Gonna maybe retake.
Really good disengage by Team Peps. Again, this is where I think Team Peps kind of hex up sometimes, is that in these team fights where it's like, okay, they've overextended, pop your ultimates, like now, they wait like an extra second. That's it. It's like a second difference. I think if they keep the Orisa alive there, this goes a lot different. At the very least, right, it will force out more ultimates out of AQ. That forced out, like, nothing.
Commanding position in the round. Point control, cap advantage, ultimate advantage. They have every tool they need to close out, and the sim wall is just icing on the cake. Oh, just immediate ultimate though from Lambda. They're going into the spawn. It's kind of crazy, but I kind of like the little bit of craziness here. Instant two-shot there.
Huge pick by Lambda.
And without the Kiriko, I mean, that's all you really needed out of this.
Yeah, you can't. If you're Team Peps, you can't push. I mean, you just watch your Kiriko. Like you can try to force some ultimates out here, but you're going to just trade out ultimates for it. So it's not going to really.
They TP it away from the.
But I mean, it's still. I mean, technically, I don't think that's a bad play by Team Peps. I think it's kind of the right idea. Like they're going to ult you eventually anyway. You know they have a bunch of ultimates, so like maybe you pop an ultimate in your spawn, you pick up a kill, then you touch point. You know, FT God made it to point. I don't think he's even going to be able to touch before the timer. So like, it won't matter there. But like, you know, it's not a bad first round, right? You know, not a bad first round.
Yeah, and talk about decisive play as well. OWCS, they build that Kitsune rush. The TP engage right into Peps, and because Peps are playing this Genji, Freya kind of composition, they recognize they can't brawl against the Symmetra. They're forced to wait it out, and that mistimed beat from FD God, it's not enough to keep Tread up in that fight, and from on there on out, I mean, the round was just over.
That rush came out so fast out of the TP. I'm wondering, like, can you start the rush animation and then TP? Like, I actually want to watch this replay and see, because that was like strikingly fast. And if you can, I don't know if you can actually do that, but I feel like you should be able to. Maybe I'm crazy, but if you can, then that's kind of wild. You like explode out of the TP with the rush with no animation.
Okay, here we go. Rissa versus D.Va comp. I love watching D.Va gameplay here. Not my favorite matchup though. Like if I'm playing D.Va here and I see what they're running, I'm not excited about it. I guess you could say. Not too excited about it.
Yeah. The sideways speed ring is big
because you get slightly more distance with the speed. Yeah. So the small things can make all the difference.
Because you have to kind of play very defensive until the timing's right. The problem is that will there be a right timing? It really depends how Checkmate sets up these sim charts. Probably not. Yeah, they're going to play on this side of the map, control this side, and they're going to grind them down. But, hey, Cookie starts off with a huge pick. They're going for trades. That's why you're watching them push this way now. They've lost a little bit contained, so what you do now is you trade, but great job.
Just a little bit too much.
Just want 5 pounds of
damage dealer. Cookie is just free to farm on the map, and he's going to be able to have that boulder shot.
What does that make again? That's really common. Why am I not remembering? Isn't it like, isn't that used for something that's like
crossing some of these longer angles?
Used a lot as an ingredient. Hummus. There it is. Thank you.
It's a slightly wider round. You're playing the Tracer and the D.Va as well, so you hope to navigate around this Symmetra.
What does that mean,
What does that mean? If the teleporter comes out, you can kite reasonably. The point pressure here from OWCS, that is going to be the bad news for Peps.
Are you saying I'm young? Thank you.
This pressure coming in from Siad.
I don't know how that works, like you said.
Yeah, checkmate.
Well, I don't drink,
Here's the opening boulder shot. Finds Landon in the backline. Instant burst kill. Landon I don't drink hummus.
I don't really eat hummus a lot. Never really got into it. I've had it a couple times. It's not bad. I probably need to find better hummus when I do get it. But yeah,
in the
not bad.
dynamism that this round has showcased, Lambda as well has struggled at times to find connections to build rails, especially with all the cover available on this map. Starting to kind of worry about AwCrap's choices here, but they're still staying confident. They're building up towards their ultimates. The sim wall could really change the story when it comes to recapping that point.
Yeah, we'll kind of see how
Garlic
they
hummus,
play this.
it
Obviously,
does
both
sound
teams
good.
with some
Okay, Team
great
Peps
openings
actually
here
is
can
kind of
have
in
some
like the
decent
driver's
opportunities
seat
here.
right now to the
Post
point where
here,
AQ is
Captain
actually
Zero
swapped
and
off to the
Susu,
Diva, so ended up being a great decision.
Comes a TP onto
I mean,
the
hey,
high ground.
you know, this is
If he got bullied away, Zirian
really good
forced
play.
him to rush
Calyx does have
Sim
ultimate here,
wall
so you'll
right
probably
in the
see
thick of
a
it, so it's hard
counter
to
ult
leverage
now.
the value of
Yep.
that rush. The beat comes in, counter beat a little bit
Kind
better
of
from
actually,
Calyx.
some of the team
Beautiful
wasn't even
healing
in
to
that,
get
but it
back
does
to
look
the
like they
full.
are
Ziad
actually no,
finds
they
two
ended
in
up
the
building.
chaos. And the ultimate usage is
Good start
perfect
for Team
from
Peps here, though,
AwCrap.
I think.
Getting just a little bit more value. The symbol, I think, makes a world of
And
difference.
hummus made
It's a
the right
long
way
road
with
back to
the
winning
quality
this round,
olive
though.
oil tastes so good. Yeah, I haven't tried
80%
it. I
on the
mean,
board for Team Peps.
I'll get into
A
hummus
lot of
more
chances
one
to bring
day.
this one
I
back. Zirian
mean,
on the Zen,
yeah,
maybe just try to
that's
break
my
the spawn camp
hope
for
you
a moment
enjoyed
here. Kind of like this tech
my
pick just for a second.
discussion there.
Probably going to swap right back as soon as he pushes away some of these spammers.
Okay. Cookie with another opening, picking on AwCrap. Now AwCrap, they have the kite.
Cookie with a huge pick. Are we going to see this go to the third round here? I mean, it's a possibility, because Diva could just all in with the ult anyway. You get the other ult out. Good stagger on point by Diva, though. If you can get the Diva kill here, that'd be huge. Oh, boy, that was... I cannot believe Diva survived that. Gets demeched again, but, like, even survive that for as long as possible to buy some time for a disengage? That's pretty damn impressive. I don't know what that sauce is. Well, pita bread, yeah. I mean, I want to eventually go on the Mediterranean, not necessarily the Mediterranean diet, but like I like some Mediterranean food, so I want to find like a Mediterranean diet that I can do with foods that I like. I also don't like olives, so that it causes a bit of a problem there. I don't mind olive, but I just don't like the taste of olives. Really good remake there by the Diva. I don't know, it's hard to say where it's going to go. It looks like Team Peps might be able to just take the team fight on point, but it's kind of, it's enough to where I can't call it yet, but yeah. Team Peps is going to take the point, not the round. I think there's still I don't know. I was going to say, I think there's still an opportunity for a team fight, but I think they're losing some time in here now. Because, okay, Baby Diva kills Tracer there. This team fight should have been over a while. That was huge right there. Gets the sim out now. They don't have that sim out going into this fight. They definitely can touch together. They can absolutely touch. I don't think it will be a clean touch, but I think they will. But like falafel, I don't think I've even had it too much enough to be I like it.
So impressive from them. They've got to make this retake though, or it's all
I already
for
missed the
nothing.
Baby Diva build.
Major beat advantage. Will Peps realize the ultimate scenario and go for an aggressive play? Calyx is so close. Looks like he's going to be able to build that beat up himself.
So far, this is fine.
Decide to play this one slow. Cookie has found all the openers previously, but
Labda with a huge pick onto Ken though. Oh no! This is kind of what we had mentioned earlier, chat, where like it always feels like when they just need to clutch it out and win, this is what happens. It's like they're super talented, and then when it comes down to like this team fight, no. Damn, what a good first map though. I don't think you could have predicted this close of a first map, right? I think like that was a, depending on where you put your channel points there, you were like, uh-oh, you know what I mean?
That is a seed 1 performance, Johnny. That is a 1 seed performance.
That's stall. Are you serious?
Yeah, not bad at all.
For like 70%. They
not
didn't
bad
kill
at
Ziad
all.
when he was trying to remake. You get a remake kill onto FT God. Like,
on the Lucio. On the Lucio.
What just happened? And then as well, like Peps.
Cookie played well.
There's a good chance they win that round as well. They got the cap.
Yeah, it was a good matchup. That was a really good team fight. You want more Echo gameplay and pro play? I think eventually will happen. Pro play. I think it's going to happen one day.
Peps even had a chance.
All right. Well, we'll see what the next map is, but not a bad map. I mean, I like I said, I like watching. I like watching good Overwatch, close Overwatch. So,
Labda finds the pick on Sojourn. You just can't give Labda that opportunity to find that pick. And from there on out, there's a 5 versus 4. You trade sound barriers, and AwCrap close things out. Peps, I think they had opportunities there, Jake, to really win this round and continue.
I mean, Cookie gave them more than enough chances, right? He did everything you could ask.
Echo was very involved in the meta in Stockholm, at least.
Really, like finding so many.
Yeah. Echo was a part of that, wasn't it?
Key moments of team play from AwCrap. Both of the beat trades are significantly
crazy to think Stockholm was like
the later beat,
what?
And then they have like the heal amp behind it.
5 months ago?
Well.
No,
so, like,
5 months ago now.
In the ultimate trades, they're like
maybe I'll go to Stockholm this year. I have my passport now.
Spots where like when Ziad is DMAC
we'll see.
and
We'll see if I get
gets
invited.
shot
The last
of
year I
the
wasn't
baby
invited.
diva. Cookie's like he knows that they need to kill this baby diva, and then
I want to
they
stream and
somehow
like
across
post-stream.
the map, Landon like saves him and gets him back into the suit. That is like ridiculous that they're able to find that save and keep Ziad alive under the pressure of the bola shot.
Unreal. Unbelievable. AwCrap. Big favorites going into this series. I feel like Peps, you can't let those opportunities slide. Like, you have a great opportunity.
It was the only tournament you've been to, and it was the Malga meta. Makes you feel any better. I went to Dallas, and it was a Malga meta too, so. Do I ever get to play with the pros? I mean, they're my games a lot in ranked when I'm playing ranked, right? I don't think I've seen a few of them in Stadium recently too, but like in ranked, yeah, all the time. I mean, we're like ranked like what, 50 or something? Usually hover around the top 100 range, depending. You know, I might.
They just take big risks, and they.
I'm trying to move, and Sully wouldn't move either.
Just get the most from those risks, and when they go for a big play, it's like everybody's hunting, everybody's trying to clutch it out. When
like,
one player's continuing to scrap, keep the overtime going, everyone is still perfectly dancing, looking for their opportunities, you know, making it hard to
the stomps were loud. That's funny.
To find their way right.
But yeah, they're my games all the time.
Somebody finds something, and then they all just continue to put that pressure on. So Katsia.
This like I said, but like it's usually series, I don't see him as much nowadays because I just don't play ranked the way that I play ranked at like different times. Usually they're like in scrims or something too. So like unless I'm playing at like 7 p.m. or catching them right before scrims, I just don't ever see them. Yeah. But yeah, I mean obviously I get them in my games.
I mean, actually, Katsia is winning this fight. That I just unbelievable.
My problem is that if I get I get into like a full OWCS lobby, I get it occasionally. The only problem I run into is not like the mechanical side of it. It's the pace. I just don't have the same scrim pacing anymore. Like I don't know. My timings are a little bit off, so like that's why I get when I get into like those OWCS lobbies with like and there's pro players in my team, and they kind of like give me those timings like, okay, we can go now. I play fine with that. But that's definitely where I struggle the most is like just my pacing when I'm in those lobbies. Just because like I just can't. I'm not going at the right time, so I'm giving up maybe too much poke damage, or I'm not taking up space. Scrims are like where you practice for matches. So like these teams that you see right here will scrim each other. Like they're like, you know, for this week, AQ might have played against, I don't know, VP or something. Like a team they don't play in a match during the week, and you practice against these teams so you can continue to get better. So when you're not scrimming the game and you play ranked timings are different than scrim timings. So the way that you play it's a little bit differently on how like your timings are, like how you take map control, when you take space. What is considered good HP to go in at? When should you fall back? When you get the team to do that? You don't get that. Back-to-back Hollywood's okay. Don't see Hollywood that much, so to see it multiple times in 2 matches, I'm okay with that. Okay. I'm in. A lot of Overwatch 1 maps haven't aged super well. I mean, yeah, I think it's a sightline issue. Some maps, like even I love King's Row, but third point King's Row still poses a problem nowadays. Where it's like the sightlines are really like sniper intensive, and like yeah, I know you want to have your sniper heroes like have strengths in areas, but like that's become a little bit too ridiculous. You're excited for map voting? Yeah, it'll be good, and hopefully like what I'm hoping for is like with map voting, I hope it also kind of brings in the idea of like they're willing to rework the maps. And based on the blog post I reacted to today, it seems like that's their plan. Like they're going to look at that data very closely and then make decisions based off of that rather than like, oh, you just play this map. Like no, people don't. So I just want to play a different map and are enjoying the one. There's
a lot of synergy between these characters, and they're going to do a little intermediate spawn camp here.
Yeah.
Most annoying tank to go against?
They might stay here for a second and then TP out.
Excluding Zarya, probably Orisa.
They're just flexing the comp. They're just letting.
Again, the reason why I would answer Orisa is because
like they shouldn't show their
I play against these really good Orisas that just constantly rotate their cooldowns and play position well. That you're just stuck. You're just stuck. So, and before people were like, hey, like why not like Mauga, etc. Like Mauga, like I play Diva. Like I can just DM cardiac over.
dynamic in the way they use this symmetric teleporter to always be.
I know that like there's engagement points from Auga, but like
establish map positioning dominance.
So Orisa is where like a good Orisa can be frustrating to play.
Cassidy shots here.
In a mirror matchup.
Takes a bit of a peek, but can't get a connection.
Matt Bowden, yes, Matt Bowden starts.
A little bit slow. Here's the re-engage with the fortify. TP up to the high ground. Looks like a fake here. Baits out a little bit of value from
Matt Bowden starts.
Is good. Tread is very low, getting bullied out. Drone has been forced already.
Next season.
This Rissa now just holding down into the corner. Katsuya though, continuing to play this one slow and patient, right? Their Symmetra is going to outvalue over the long
I don't
fight.
even. I have no
opportunity
idea
to get explosive, but you pull the
what
trigger too
Flats
early, you
tier
will
list
just be
looks like right now. Has he even done one recently?
No. Speaking of cut to pieces,
The only thing I heard about a tier list is he said Soldier 76 is not good in Stadium.
Not really getting any purchase.
I
Maybe
disagree.
They'll get one tick out of this. I think no reason to force for the first tick.
All right, here we go.
Katsuya give that one up, but once that window's down, they're just going to immediately retake control. And FT God's caught in. This
I don't know, Riss is probably...
He's on the Lucio, so maybe he can play his way out of this. And I think
What do you think, A tier right now this season? I think like S tier would be... I don't think Riss is at the Mauga level of what we've seen in the past. I think probably like a nice, nice A tier.
The Ant Matrix comes out on the attack. Beautiful spear from Ziad. And you pop that spin from Trep, but he's so low, just getting crushed down.
Also, great job here by AQ. Sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked on myself.
But once again, it's a resounding victory for the defenders.
Yeah, very expected fight.
Yeah, as I'm saying, I don't think Orisa's like, and like when I say like A tier for Orisa, that could scale differently for rank too, right? I think right now I'm seeing Orisa play the most in ranked, to the point where like Orisa just gets banned, so you don't have to deal with that. So
they've allowed AwCrap to establish this
defense,
and here's an aggressive deadeye from Ladna.
TP behind is
really, I love this TP play. Great javelin though, and this is a decent reaction by Team Peps to kind of pop beat and go aggressive. The problem is that it was a little bit too soon. So when you try to engage with that beat there, it's maybe it was used as survivability. Although I don't, maybe because the high noon. Yeah, I guess the high noon timing with that. So the beat was fine. It's just like a really good play by AQ to force it early. You know, there's an S tier tank this season. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, maybe we're missing a tank here. Again, we can also be like.
Peps are missing a few steps.
By ranked with tier list.
So sharp. Katsuya with the TPs.
So should I just do a should I just I don't know if Crap's down for this. Should I just do another let my chat make a tier list thing again? Did people end up liking that video? We did it last year where I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna let chat make the tier list, and we'll see what everybody does. So we just had everybody like submit it on like a Google Doc or something, and then all the data got taken in, and we just found out like. What it was like averaged out, and it just showed what the tier list of the community was. Maybe we'll do that again. But that means that you would have to do that first before I do my own tier list, because I don't want to sway the tier list. You know? Because I got to make sure that Great job here again by AQ. I mean, wonderfully played. Yeah.
Forced into a tricky off angle. Tread is dancing well, but he can't get any heals.
They're just doing the horseshoe strategy I told you about. It's just like they're playing it perfectly. They're just taking good angles. They're denying all the angle spots. Just a much better AQ moment here. So.
On the flank, do they know about this? Zirian made footsteps. Did they hear that?
I'm gonna. I don't know if Crap's there. So
wait, he's dancing. Oh, checkmate. You gotta watch out for that. Zirian chasing him down, but there's the Lucio booping around.
I put chat tire list to Crap instead of chat tier list. So if Crap makes a post on the Discord looking for people's tires, that's on me.
FD God stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Have I seen the Resident Evil 9 trailer? Yes, it was great. I'm excited. I can't wait. February of next year. Should be a good time.
Brain is just too large.
Yep.
He's just establishing dominance on the Symmetra, flipping the map. Taking the angles that give AwCrap the lead. Small little detail, but I like the wall that he dropped his ultimate as well, because it allowed them to rotate.
Is it cool he just got new tires a couple months ago? Heck yeah.
Pick that way.
No, he's one of the tire lists. There you go.
On the map. So AwCrap, they are coasting. Like look at these stats. This is brutal, Jake.
Yeah, this is some
yeah, what I'm thinking Crap is we do that. Remember that tier list we did, but this time like let chat do the tier list, and then I'll just react to it, and then we just do that. I think that'd be kind of fun without me having any like. I don't want to have any huge problem for them. I don't want to sway that tier list at all. Okay. I don't want that. I want to let chat come together and do that. You know,
just to try to stay alive into that. then they try to blade.
Is your OWCS fantasy team? Yeah, Applied said he likes to play that a lot. I haven't done it. I mean, I know of like that stuff.
You're under in this game.
Obviously, I do that with my
across
dad
the season for team peps that like to try and find maps to try and get anything done here. But the way AwCrap is just taking every fight to you,
I have to
constantly be on guard, and it's hard to even think about what play you want to go for. On the offense with the sim TPs, AwCrap.
Monster truck tires or football
there's so many options for the TP. How you
and monster truck tires or B tier? Why is that?
See what AwCrap end up going for.
Oh wait, chat. Does anybody else have? Okay. Does anybody else have like bike-in paths? If you bike, where like it's just the road. We have like a really popular bike-in path around here, but it's just the road. It's like there's no room for the bikes, and it's like I'm like, damn. I feel bad because I wish that they would have like a they would be able to have like a full thing for that.
They're just clearing things up.
Just got smoked. Ziad into the backline, feasting on the weak DPS. Landon steals those kills away from the tank.
No, they don't even paint the bike icons on the road. It's literally just the road. So you'll be driving, and then there'll be like 30 bikes driving, but you just can't do anything. You have to wait.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It like couldn't be any closer to me than it is. This reminds me of anybody else here have the problem that when you sit down on the couch, you always lose your remote?
Maybe put tread on the Diva, you know, Juno speed ring. Like
I think Lonnie and I lose our remote.
Sirion's played a lot of Juno.
Lonnie and I like lose our remote at least 5 times a night, and we don't do anything with it. We put it in a spot and it's just gone and disappears.
I do think if they play,
we don't know why. We don't know where it is. It just somehow got moved.
What is this comp? Is this real?
You know?
No, well.
This is looking real, bro. They're walking out.
They're walking out on the side.
All right.
Okay.
All right, look, I won't doubt it. I won't doubt it. You know what, Ziad? Let the guy, let him cook. Let him cook at this point. He's so nasty on the Orisa. I feel like this comp might be better than Orisa, but you know what?
Sully steals it. I mean, he could.
They're putting on a show for
the borrowers. I remember that movie was years ago.
Support. And then you go, well, there probably benefits.
Arnie's moving them to trap the Roomba.
And, you know,
Arnie does not.
We got the Freya, we got the Saria.
He still follows the Roomba around to this day. He's the
makes it really awkward to play.
He makes sure
that's maybe what you
constantly.
Want
He's always watching.
And also the Ana. So maybe that makes it in that sense. It makes some sense to me. FD God is on Ilari. He's on Lifeweaver. I'm gonna go with this is not good against the nade. He really needs to swap against the nade.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the borrows when I was a kid.
Surely, they're committing. Well, you know what? Honestly, I don't hate it. Like
these comps are not what you expect on circuit. Team Pep's comp. The BAP Lifeweaver. I'm just used to that now. It's a good strategy. Yeah, the Ana Zarya Pharah comp we're seeing is definitely a little bit different. My guess is just spam corner type of situation. I don't know. It's yeah.
A little over aggressive. Let's see if they can.
Oh, and they had the ball instead. Yeah, the wrecking ball. Yeah. I was gonna say the wrecking ball. Hey, listen, sometimes you gotta go. You gotta wrecking ball. Right?
Widow can be a big threat here, though. You gotta watch out. Cookie can always make something happen. Rocking that new skin.
All right, there's the Widow is in now. Zarya has. I don't even know if Zarya's been able to do damage. This must be like a give them corner strat and then just hold the corner with a Zarya.
Zarya's maybe gonna struggle to get energy there.
And then bubble your Genji so they can fall over. But they do trade. Good on a grenade. Kelix is a bit low, so you need to be careful there. They're starting to get grinded down right now. They might just kind of lose this pretty
quickly. Get this one done alone. Diva wisely goes starting to hunt that back.
I don't know if there's much more that can be kind of done here. There's the all-in. One more Zarya bubble, but that might not be enough. Has to get off the point. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that was a kind of an interesting strategy.
Slam the door on any kind of crazy possible retake.
Kind of an interesting strategy.
Also, I don't hate it.
Yeah, when they lost the Pharah, it lost a lot of poke ability there, and AwCrap were just forced to go back. Checkmate tried to build some charge for Ziad, who didn't have any charge at all on the Zarya.
On the Freya, so you get that little bit extra.
Diva, but this is not a good comp to be playing Zarya. No, it's not a good map for Zarya. It's not a good, like, the Widow is free.
Like, so they should have swapped away.
All right, there's the Genji going in.
Landon has ulti. Maybe he can set something up, get some bubbles to checkmate, get some aggression rolling. Katsia cooking pretty hard. Landon on the offense, making some space.
So this is where AQ will be able to slow them down a bit. Again, I've talked about this part of the map where your team starts to, it's going to slow down a little bit for a while on getting across. They're gonna go for some ults. Team Peps has ults, but it's really hard to get those ultimates as engagement.
Second point, not so good for Widow, right? It's a very good Widow map, first and third. But second point, you're kind of forcing it in this kind of a comp to be playing Widow. You're trying to take these tight angles and checkmate over to the Genji, giving Zarya maybe a more clear avenue to get that energy. And Zion's getting a little bit torqued here. That's dangerous. If this Zarya gets energy, this matchup really starts to change.
A really good play there.
Oh, sorry, Bola shot?
He does have it. Yeah, I mean, see if he wants to rip it here. They got to worry about Tread looking to eat it. He's shooting it very far away from
Great
Tread, though.
because that would have been an easy kill, but Landon still kind of flanks around here. Just the flight alone there just allows for so much play. And Landon's playstyle is a very aggressive playstyle, too. So like being able to be like aggro there and make those plays, it just shows you the strength of that comp. And you can kind of surround them. Again, if you haven't noticed, the way they're playing it is they're kind of rotating around. So everybody on their team kind of ends up around them in a circle, and they get surrounded. And it works really, really well. So
at the high level of play, people are very cautious about letting you get built up.
You're cooking some pizza? Hey, pizza's
into the
good.
fight fully energized.
I'm with you on that.
It's kind of broken. It's very, very awkward to play D.Va when the Zarya is pre-charged.
Also, it's pretty scary because, you know, the Zarya will build charge.
I haven't had
here,
pizza in a
and
while.
You actually can Juno speedring off the ledge if you want to get busy and get on top of the backline here as well.
Yeah.
So AwCrap, they have options available, like how they want to take these fights. Now they have a grab as well. They have tons of.
Okay, there's the grab. Great grab. I mean, the lamp's right in front of the team, so.
That's a dream grab. This should
Yeah, I think they're going to clean up here. And this is where, again, I think they just have these really good ult timings for them. They lost Landon during that, but I don't think that'll be enough to get back and do anything. They're just going to have Checkmate going with an ultimate. Probably wait as long as they can. Kelix might fall back with a speed ring to help everybody get back, which I think is what's happening. I don't see the Juno. So the timing here actually is a pretty solid engage. Good bubble, and a bubble blade now to save the team from any issues, which would happen about probably 4 seconds. Backing away, maybe start with Freya ultimate.
Opening maybe with the Pola.
They're slowing it down for a reason. Must be just the right bubble situation.
Blade straight to the back line.
Good play, just kind of waiting for the setup. That should be a kill on Kiriko. They get 2. No ultimates from Team Peps, which I mean that's pretty much how it goes there. You can't really do anything about that. Checkmate gets clean kills there. Now Labda has a Freya ultimate.
Yeah, Lano's going to build this captive
Which
Sun here
you have to worry about Freya
well.
ultimate and a Yari. Don't be surprised to see the same exact strategy where a Yari flanks, and then they try to get the ultimate. Or not ultimate from Labda also, so kind of like a
if you're playing this D.Va composition, you'd like to get on top of Landon if possible, right? And that Soundwave will just give enough survivability.
Ult in the air, good pull. There's the cleanse. Yep, Landon does the exact same flank play that we just saw. Really good survivability here, gets the kill. It was like literally the exact same play. Basically, you surround them, you use both of those ultimates at the same time, you get free kills, and they trade again. They can't do anything about that. And Zayad's already back to grab shortly. Might have to back up a little bit right now just to kind of like stay alive. But I think that's why they're also going for some early poke damage, get a cooldown out. Now they're going to back up. Team Peps should recognize that Zarya is going to be out of there for a while and take as much map control as possible. This is like basically where the map control can have.
Sarah's going to build this Kitsune rush, and this will be one good fight. At least you got some ground here, Jake. You got some ground, and maybe now you can get some good value from Kitsune rush. You got a
Kitsune in about 4 seconds. Definitely not now. Gonna back up. The problem is they're gonna back up and try to like reset. But now they're in like 20-second mode. We're like, yeah. Now they're gonna stagger.
Does take him down, but it's going to cost him his life.
That was still a good idea. I mean, that play might actually save them time. But the grab, I think the problem is the grab will happen now. They're going to get a kill on the Lucio for free. Now they know to the left side where everybody else is, so I think it was just enough. Now they pop the Kitsune, but it's late. They'll be able to touch point probably once, maybe twice. Tracer can touch point next. But I think at this point it's all just like
stalling for just a moment. But yeah, this one is beyond hopeless. Johnny, the orbital ray. I mean, the margin of victory here is out of control. Like, Katsuya dumped 4 basically trolling ults into this fight because they've already
At least it was my
won.
keyboard and not anything else, but great half there so far. How do you do the huge jump with Zarya?
Yeah,
You just
like
right-click the jump.
well.
Count Cookie, thanks for the 6 months of the prize.
And they actually utilize their composition to their advantage, make it really difficult for Peps to walk up, get any kind of ground whatsoever. It felt like AwCrap, they were always in control of like how they wanted to execute in those fights. It just came down to that very final fight where they actually gave up some positioning to Peps, but then opening pick by Labda. So AwCrap in full control here. Very clean defense, actually with the Zarya as well. Now it's just a matter of time. They can clean up on point A here and get the cap and close out the series.
It's kind of interesting, right, with the Ram ban, right? Because I think Ram would be the conventional response for Team Peps to go against the Zarya.
Yeah.
I feel like they maybe should play Winston as like the next option, but it's sort of an awkward Winston map, and you need to be a very confident Winston player and really understand how to play that matchup. I still think maybe they should have played Winston into this comp, but not, you know, it's just like hard to find those answers for Team Pep. So I think Katsuya navigating the ban phase very well. Landon just profiting so heavily on this Solari. It's
no,
like
the Zarya jump is you just right click and jump, then you can get a perk that does even more. Yep.
Every fight Landon is just like
it's really just
taking risks.
Right click jump. That's what I do.
That's how they play, right? They hit you on all fronts at once, and
right click jump, just kind of like
that's pretty tough
back
to do.
to back.
Checkmate and Ziad are just
all right, here we go. Zarya again,
like,
Orisa, Pharah, the spam comp at the corner, BAP Lifeweaver. If they're setting up correctly with this comp, the BAP should be set up on the left side. Doesn't seem to be what's happened, and that's why if you look, Zarya looked there because technically in that comp you're just supposed to set up your BAP on the top left and then just hold the angle. Fortunately, they don't do that. Now they're giving up a ton of space to play the corner, which might be a problem. We'll see. We'll see.
Wait, that play was so sick. They do it the pedal into the spear from Tread. Not enough to get the kill on Landon, though. The support is very clean there from Kellex. Bubbles as well, continuing to stabilize the position, and Katsuya just taking some pretty aggressive liberties here, taking some wide swings. Ken is struggling to keep the pressure on Team Peps. They're playing an aggressive Pokemon, but they're the ones getting bullied out of this choke.
Yeah, Peps now have to hold this corner and keep Tread alive and buy just enough time for Ken and Cookie to find these picks. It's really all pressure on Peps here to find one of these picks because AwCrap, they're gonna be comfortable with Ziad on this payload, just beating up Tread on the Orisa.
Yeah, this is a very energized Zarya. Tread.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like they gave up so much space here, so it's like they're just gradually losing map control over and over again, you know?
She has to stay on the card, so pulling her out isn't really going to work in this spot.
Okay, we have a great Saturday too. And that's why, like, they just kind of gave up the map control. But like the idea behind that team comp was like take the angle, top left, and then just control it. Instead, they just give up the map, and then that's that.
The Genji hitting from the flank, Landon.
So like you're just, yeah, exactly. Like you're just stuck on the cart, and you just have no control of the map. So just like, yep, gonna fall over here, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, because AwCrap, you know, they put so much
clearly
pressure on
Rein's
Tread.
the answer here. I agree.
Like,
Get some Reinhardt in there.
You stand on the cart, you need to contest to prevent the point cap.
I mean, that is basically all he can do. It's like
you are on a time limit. Team Peps are to find those picks required, but they just couldn't. AwCrap, they play a perfect game, and now just one fight win away from securing.
Clearly Rein's the answer here. True.
Landon,
yeah, Ryan would really step up here.
Feels like he values the flight.
I'm going to assume that they're going to just end up winning this team fight here with the Juno ultimate in about 4 seconds. We'll see. There's Juno ultimate. Tracer behind. No recall. They engage in. There's the blade. Zarya gets the kill. And that's pretty much it. And there you go. 3-0. I mean, not surprising. I think Team Peps played a little bit better than people expected. Which is nice. Again, I think with Team Peps, it's never really about the talent. It's just they just seem to, when they need to win the clutch moments, it just doesn't happen. And that's
also one-sided. Business as usual for AwCrap.
There you go. So now we have what? Twisted Minds versus VP up next. That is going to be a good one. We hope it.
Yeah, I mean they're so innovative. They play.
Good first match.
Team to watch. I feel like
obviously a rougher second match, and then
you just want to see what they bring.
This next match should be pretty good.
Cooking up in the
lab.
We'll
see. You know?
To be the #1 team making.
She immediately texted no.
Playing a lot of these high tempo main supports, and that's been a big boon for them. And with the Brig ban,
you'll break the toilet. That's what she said.
On OWCS,
I'm not. This is in real time. Again,
forcing that kind of a style.
This is in real time.
A very comfortable spot for Twisted Minds to be.
So that's where we're at.
And VP, you know, they like playing this Juno Brig kind of composition. Put Fixa onto that hero, but like you said, the Brig ban will now come in handy for a team like Twisted Minds. This is going to be a great matchup, Jake. I can't wait. This is one of those few matchups a week.
Not actually in order. I think I have some food.
Fantastic 5-map banger. So
I forgot about
both teams bring their A game today and provide us a nice series to round out the game.
I think Control, fraudulent game mode or not, is actually a really
important here we go.
case for VP to show they can keep up with the tempo that
Twisted Minds
is known to love to bring.
Against VP. Both really good teams, pretty much battling for that second seed, right?
He can always threaten to boop you off, and so KSA over on the Diva.
And here we go. Who will win? You got the Orisa versus the Diva. Both teams, very good teams, very good players. So
they have the high ground for a little bit playing the back, but they're going to give it up, and Fixa actually caught in a pretty poor position there. Gets picked up by Funny Astro, so Twisted Minds, they just need a quick little engage for the high ground, and You got a man advantage
Yeah.
now. Let's see if they can
Good
close
pick
out.
so far. You can always tell when teams are like evenly matched when you have the neutral fight be like it is right now. Both teams haven't capped. Both teams are disengaging properly. Both teams can't finish a kill. Like when they do finish a kill, it's like they have to really grind out the kill. This already appears to be a good game of Overwatch. VP takes the point first. How about Italian? We don't have many Italian restaurants around here right now.
Able to hold on to the engagement is huge.
Massachusetts is very like
That's a risky
good
running if you're
seafood.
Twisted Minds
I
here.
mean,
You're
I could probably get some good
playing
seafood.
Lucio,
Although I feel like a lot of the
Diva as well, Virtus
seafood
Pro,
places,
they
I don't
have
even
a
think they
lot
would
of
deliver.
pressure
I think
onto
they're
the
like a
point
very
with
local,
the
like
Orisa and Gala and Matisse, a lot of healing to keep the
like
tank up.
local,
So they buy enough time,
kind of
and
like
they
you go and
put
pick
so
it
much
up
pressure
and
onto the point that they're
it's good,
actually
but
able
yeah.
to poke down Twisted Minds and find the advantage. It's up to
You
Twisted
messed up
Minds
and you
here
only sent the
for
image. Now you gotta
rotations
wait
to
6
come
hours.
through.
I mean, you can try to ask
Maybe
Crap to
open things
fix that
up
if he's
against a
on.
bit more
But if he's not,
slower
then
Virtus
yeah, you
Pro
might have to
comp.
wait it out.
Yeah, they have cleared out some of the angles.
Good ultimate there by Quartz. Doesn't really get a kill, but forces out Lamp. Anytime he forces out Lamp is a good thing because exactly that reason. Psycho's able to go in, get a backline pick onto the Cassidy, and you know, while you didn't get the kill, you force out Lamp, and that was good. So, yep.
Seems like the flip is going to be coming through for Twisted Minds. They bring the pace, they clear out, crucially, that hookah lounge. And
Here we
VP
go.
onto the outskirts of the point, just don't have the position to sustain eyes now.
Yeah, and this is where it gets tricky for Virtus Pro now because you're playing this Orisa, you're playing this BAP. Realistically, I expect them to go inside here and
Hi,
try to
Sully.
get some kind of positioning because Twisted Minds, they want to play out
Bucket
in the
Boy,
open
yep,
here.
a rare Bucket Boy
Like
appearance
Cook,
again.
Jago has a
He's been
plus one
slowly
here,
going back
but it's
into
so
it.
much tough to get value from this one.
Big B from Funny Astro, full aggression. They know Fix has died a couple times in this game. He doesn't have the beat up online. Eisnam, though, holding the line with the spin and has the fortify as well. So it's a great kite back from Virtus Pro, punishing that aggressive beat from Twisted Minds. And the pulse bomb, big connection. Can't see Minds 2 with the bomb, though. How does he get
When
that?
does the split
Two
gate
for two. Both teams low.
I don't have any plans
Double
to play it
support
right
before
now.
Shockwave has a ton of resources on
I know they've been
this Cassidy.
sponsoring a lot of my
He can
friends.
take a very aggressive
Play it.
peek in.
Seem to like it.
For now, Quartz forced off the angle.
But,
Big
yeah,
headshot
I'm just
forces
chilling.
the recall from Tracer. And Virtus
like,
Pro, they want
ready
to
for my
struggle. The
move and
iron is
stuff
hot.
and
Get anything that they possibly can. Funny
ready for
Astro
that
dancing
stuff.
around Bagala there to punish him from behind the pillar.
Yeah, I know. A rematch
Psycho
got
falls
2. I'm
too.
sorry. I'm just like
The pressure from this Cassidy is pretty immense. Diva is
That
back.
was
Maybe
a
gonna
good
try and take the fight
rare to
back.
see it, but it
Two
happens.
Shockwave, but KSA doesn't have that
It
much help
happens.
to work with. Playing it slowly,
Especially
but
when you like
still
alt
being
in the correct
stalled.
spot and you're able to like
Twisted
just
Minds
isolate them into a
running the
corner. It
score
could be
as
so
much as they
good.
can, but Virtus Pro, inevitable. This back Cassidy, just a matter of time for them to take down the point in the low numbers engagement.
Yeah, it's a crazy post bomb from Jabu that actually evens it up after KSA's 2K self.
Did I have to coax him in with some turkey? No.
Virtus Pro
No, he was
enough
totally fine with that.
picks to try to level out the 3 versus 3 fight, and they win it out because of that double support, like you said. Now though, 60% against 60%. Virtus Pro double support ultimate, and they're gonna commit both, Jake.
It's a big beat. Funny Astros.
I gave my foot a cramp.
They have to fall back.
Yep.
They have to try to regroup.
So-
Full HP
oh,
for VP.
boy.
The Ant Matrix as well, but they seem to have made it around the crucial corners, stabilizing in the face of a double support ultimate commitment.
Oh, that feels great.
It's a very nice trade for Twisted Minds.
Yep.
Jay will crucially find Simple at the last moment. Now Twisted Minds 80% on the
Where are
board
we in the
against them.
OWCS
They know
match
they're
right
gonna
now?
make a play. They
Twisted
need to
Minds
try
versus
to
VP.
clutch this fight out. Shockwaves find Quartz with the high noon. Funny Astro forced to retreat, and Twisted Minds just trying to regroup, trying to get back for one final touch on the point. Tracer should be
Twisted
able to
Minds
make that
versus
happen, but
VP.
Jay was going to duel that flank before the fight even really begins.
And they're looking for picks here. Suspecting that Psycho's gonna go for the touch here, contesting with
Which is a great matchup. I mean, this is some good Overwatch. Okay, let's focus up now. We're locked in.
No problem.
We're locked in.
Kitsune rush deployed on
So,
the point for Simple.
Twisted Minds doing a good job of trying to retake this. Hits the stick there on Lucio, which is huge, and gets the lamp out. This should be a follow-up kill for both teams. What a play. This is going to be a good game of Overwatch. I'm pumped.
Fortified on the point, getting cleaned up. Psycho hero play there, touching the point.
Ready?
Forwarding into a pulse bomb, big damage from that.
You all settled now
Even
in your
under the
bucket?
drone, and KSA helps find the cleanups.
You
Yeah,
settled?
and Gala just, the drone wasn't in time for the pulse bomb. That's a crucial pick, courtesy of Psycho there on the Tracer, and now Virtus Pro. Yes, they have a couple of ultimates here, but
I love good
so
Tracer
tough. Funny
gameplay.
Astro's gonna build a sound barrier.
It
here
makes
as well.
it.
Twisted
It's just
Minds
fun to
in a
watch. It's
fairly
always just
comfortable
super fun to
position
watch.
here if they can get value from this beat.
Last time Twisted Minds with the aggro beat, Virtus Pro
VP kind of just going around the map.
They
How
won't
were the
have
other
that
EMEA
option
games?
until you get down
First
to the
match was
overtime.
good. Second map, okay.
Try to fight this out.
Love this play by Twisted Minds being really aggro. As you know, I'm very much a fan of like proactive gameplay. Obviously, doesn't go well because of the peel. Again, some teams are really good at peeling back, and that's kind of what VP did right there. Able to flip the point. Now it's kind of like on Twisted Minds to regain the point, but Psycho gets 2 kills in the back line. Oh my, the Tracer gameplay, and look at that Twisted Mind is able to take the first round unless we see an amazing 1v5 as Tracer, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Ruthless efficiency cleans this one
Not
up.
bad
It's
at
a very
all.
back and forth affair, but Twisted Mind's
I must
gonna
say.
come out with the round.
So myself.
Yeah, the damage player is looking fantastic for Twisted Minds and making a big difference right now. Virtus Pro, I think they played that composition quite well. They move around with the Cassidy, the BAP. They try to disengage from Twisted Minds when they do commit.
Oh, really, really good at Tracer. I agree. That's awesome to see.
Cassidy, but for the most part, Twisted Minds do a great job of maneuvering around this Cassidy BAP composition and then finding the picks necessary. Psycho, 12-2. This guy is on fire and was a huge difference maker in that round.
Jwoo's not far behind him though, 11-2, right? These Tracers are going blow for blow. The damage is naturally going to be a little bit lower in the BAP comp. He has a more defensive role in this comp just to try to create space, but
then one more.
He's staying alive. He's finding those final blows. So both teams.
Okay, so here we go.
That could very much have gone the other way.
Got a not a mirror comp. We're seeing VP kind of run that Cassidy. We saw this earlier where one team kind of opted for like the Freya instead of the Cassidy, and then one team. So Shockwave's gonna go Cass. Again, this is just to get map control. You're gonna want to get close to them. You can't really give the distance to Freya because Freya will end up winning that with just like they'll end up just winning that with some like there's the range. So you have to kind of push into them. And what happened there is Twisted Minds flipped the map, and that was actually a perfect flip. You don't see that happen too often. That was really, really cool. Tracer's the most fun you have on DPS, but Tracken's awful. Yeah, but it's those moments when you do hit that perfect Tracken, right? Where you like hit that really cool pulse bomb. That's what Overwatch is sometimes. You don't have to play perfect on a hero, just when you have cool moments. That's why it's always fun when you get those cool moments. You can play for them. It's also why it can be more frustrating sometimes if, for example, you go for a really cool moment and then you end up like pulse bombing. You end up like pulse bombing like 4 and they just like lamp it. You're like, oh man. But yeah, good job by VP here. Grinded it kind of down. Good map flips from both teams. Kind of looks to me like VP is going to be taking this first team fight finally. It was a long team fight, but 30%. Has Kitsune coming up. They're in a pretty good spot. Pretty good spot. Did you never see Ashe in these tournaments? Too easy to dive, unfortunately. Doesn't have the same mobility as a lot of the other heroes or survivability to go with it. But I think Ashe is still good. We saw Ashe a little bit. I think it was more last stage. And sometimes you'll see Ashe. Just not like the same as some of the other heroes with like... It pretty much would go in order of snipers outside of like, let's say Widow on like a random map. It would probably go, what, Freya, Sojourn, then Ashe? Is generally how it would go in order based off of like what teams are comfortable with. A lot of teams will opt for that Freya or Sojourn. But hero bans can change that.
Nice big shield for his benefit. Simple coming forward now with the rush, but a much.
That's why Ana isn't played really well too. Ana's okay in like Ana brick comps. Yeah, Ana's an interesting one with falling out of meta. And I don't know. Ana's like a hero that nothing could change with Ana, and Ana will just be played for like a whole stage and then just disappear again. So.
Really have to risk their lives.
But you can kind of always count on Ana to be played in some form as long as Winston Ana Brig is still really good. So
if you are Twisted Minds, VP still healthy. Jwoo, Eisnom on the point with both supports. Pulse Bomb probably has KSA's name on it here. He's got to be so cautious. An opportunity finally.
I didn't say that, not Sensei. I'm saying that I don't think Ashe has played in this as much.
Really high level here.
Yeah.
Trading back and forth.
I'm more
ultimates,
telling you like why Ashe isn't
trying to
played
find
as much.
any opening they can,
Ashe
but Virtus Pro able to hold on.
Brands and so
Twisted Minds, I think
better.
even in that fight, they had a really good set of conditions going their way. KSA pushes up to the point, but then Funny Astro built that sound barrier and dropped it at a perfect timing here.
Oh, the Curio.
Yeah.
The Curio blocked by the spiked wall. That's such a sick play.
You all settled?
I mean, we've been talking about how do you come in to replace a player like Sola. This is how. This guy's been grinding.
Yeah,
he's coming up with these big moments, big performances. These kite.
You've been seeing less Sojourn recently? Yeah, that can make sense.
In the world at these like super aggressive Lucio rush pushes.
Yeah.
And Virtus Pro is handling them. So right now, 1-1, it's all going to come down to this library stage.
All right, VP takes that round. Sorry, I was getting into discussions again there. VP takes that round. Early trades there on both DPS. The two DPS are kind of like playing a little bit differently. Really good dive there by the Tracer and the Lucio. There's still maybe one more trade here if I saw that correctly underneath. Looks like Hazard does escape out, so. Out of rewind. I wish. You know the crazy part is they're gonna. So you can look in the video section. I just said Crap is who you have to message, but he might not be on. So if Crap's on, he'll take care of it. If not, that's it. But yeah, isn't it crazy that they're going to be adding the ability to rewind the stream, but like it's going to be like initially like paywalled?
Actually pushed back quite a far amount, so this is going to be dropped from Simple.
So basically, it's going to be they're going to add a rewind feature to Twitch, but if you're a sub to a channel or a turbo, then you'll have it. But if you're not, then you won't. Now, obviously, they could change their tune on that, but like,
pretty decisive edge on this map.
Yeah.
Hazard seems to have the edge in this matchup for now.
Yeah, and also Virtus Pro, they're playing their limits so well, right? Because Icenom is dropping low a few of these.
Maybe that's just why they get everything else set up. My guess is it's probably because they don't have like an ad system yet for that. That's my guess. So like they're just like, yeah, we can't. Yeah, yeah, you'll be able to rewind it like YouTube. Yep.
For the rest of the team, and they're gonna fall back.
Yep.
I mean, space created, right? Deadeye, you're not mad at that.
I assume it's probably because the ads aren't set up yet for that.
And so once again, you're on the retake for Twisted Minds.
Bucket boy.
See if they can get something done. We'll see if Simple can find that Kitsune rush. Drops it across the point. Perfect cleanse. Just
trying to see if I can get him to stay up here. He's like considering not being there. That's my guess. But yeah, either way, like. Yeah. Got to give credit to VP. They've been playing this very, very well here. Now, obviously, they're going to get traded on, but like they've had a really good start to this team fight, and you know, getting this percentage to even, I don't know, let's say 69% would be nice, right?
Still trying to scrap this one out.
So we'll see what happens. 67%, not nice, but decent. Psycho gets a huge couple of picks there, and there you go. Good boy, buddy.
And the smallest difference makes a big difference here, actually. The fact that Icenom didn't get that sound barrier, that was pretty much the only thing that allowed Twisted Minds to close out that fight. That was the small, little difference in favor of Twisted Minds, and now. Yeah,
I mean, it's just really good. Yeah, exactly. The ults are good. They disengage well. This should be a fairly close series. Like, let's say this series was like even a 3-0, which I don't think it will be by any means. It would be like the closest 3-0 you've probably seen. If that was to even happen. I don't think that will happen. Twisted Minds playing very aggressive right now, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. And the thing about Twisted Minds playing aggro is they also have one more aggressive outplay here they could get away with, which is Kitsune. So, yep. I think it's going to go really, really well from both sides. We'll see what happens, though. Twisted Minds doing their thing. Getting aggressive. They're going to wait on this high noon, and they're going to Kitsune in. They actually, like, aren't going to Kitsune in. I am surprised how that team fight went. I thought they were going to be more aggressive with Kitsune and just make a play. Instead, they backed up and they split because of the high noon, and then they ended up, like, I think losing the team fight, but then, like, at the same time, they got a couple picks, but no, there's the baby Diva, so now they're going to flip the point, and then we'll see.
Just wants to live, wants to farm up that next Bola shot, knows how powerful it is with no Diva on the other side of the field.
Yeah, and Deadeye forces Twisted Minds.
Oh, have you? Yeah, I haven't played PUBG. I'll be real with you, so that's cool though.
So Twisted Minds are split up, and that is enough for Virtus Pro to capitalize.
Yeah, now the character ults are mirrored exactly. So that's why I thought like they were gonna lead with it and then just like be willing to trade later. So maybe there's just like a vision where they wanted to trade the Kitsunes instead and make that like an ult dump fight. But like the problem is that the ult usage by VP has been like next to perfect. I mean, you could even argue that like that was. I think they're just gonna end up popping beat here on the next engagement. So this is like still the correct play across the board. Yeah, there's the beat. They get beat out there. Now it's looking a little bit closer. Twisted Minds gets a trade. They have to get the Freya now, but a huge peel right there. And yeah, looks like Twisted Minds even end up taking that team fight. Now it's down to the wire right now. Down to the last team fight of the first map. This is a good sign to see.
Clean house there. And as we approach its final fight, Jake, no support ultimates on either side. This is going to come down to the Tracers, and maybe Icenom if he can make a difference on this Quartz. But this is time for Quartz to step up, yeah, with this Bola.
This is all Quartz. Bola shot relatively.
Okay, Tracer right there. Pulse Bomb here will be very massive if it hits. Doesn't hit, but forces it back a little bit. This is a great Kiriko cleanse, but also a great ult by Quartz. It looks like Twisted Minds gets an early pick. I don't think it's... this Pulse Bomb will... Ooh, okay. Psycho misses the Pulse Bomb there. Ultimate-wise, it's kind of in the neutral right now. There's a number advantage for Twisted Minds for a little bit longer, but if they can survive on point for a little bit more here, then they lose their tank, though. So unless they're able to come back here and maybe get a quick kill, I mean, headshots have happened. What a Hinda. Point is still being touched here. Reason why KSA is pushing really, really deep into there, by the way, Chad, is because if the if you have Diva ultimate and you can go for the backline kill, you know you have that ultimate and you're going to force ult them. So that was a good play, very smart decision. Looks like I think Twisted Minds is going to grind this out right here, and they should, and they do. So there you go. Twisted Minds gets the first map, but wow, do we have a series, chat. We got a series. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to go to the bathroom very quickly, chat. I'll be right back in a couple minutes. Hit that follow button if you have. And, yeah, hope you're all enjoying the stream. Appreciate y'all.
They've practiced a lot. And it's going to be up to Twisted Minds in how do they kind of react to that.
God of War. I heard both those games are good.
Just Pro, Smash is a fantastic coach for that team.
They're going to play Doom?
Done a great job with this roster, right?
I think Doom's like, real talk for me, I think Doom would be a game I would play off stream just to listen to the music and vibe.
It's just so smart. So,
we're just going to re-up the map. Okay. I guess that's fine. Doesn't really make any difference at all.
Yeah, but BG3 is on the list.
Just run
like that is on the list of games to play. It's just I'm gonna wait till I get closer to D&D with that stuff.
YOLO. YOLO.
I'm just like,
kill them before they kill you, bro.
Some damage heroes are good, like Freya. Just damage boost to Freya. Like okay.
Low-key, I can see the vision
Dark Souls
on this map.
Classic.
I don't know about the Zen though. He's gonna be having a bad day on Zen with the Mercy trying to kill you against Psycho. But
okay, Chad, here we go.
I can see the vision with like a Mercy pocketed Freya. That sounds like kind of wild, but I kind of like it.
Versus VP.
I think Quartz here, especially with the Diva band, it kind of frees up Quartz even more on this Freya to have a big impact in this game. You said
I don't even know what Karki's doing
one Quartz really heated up.
He's been chilling, just playing
Lucio back with the hazard here.
Interesting.
On offense.
I don't mind it.
Cassidy, yeah.
Okay.
I don't mind it personally. I mean, you're going to get a lot of
VP wants to set up on high ground. That's their play, but Twisted Minds gets a very early pick. So that's not as ideal.
That's kind of the weakness of this style.
VP does go, I mean, JWoo does go in and get like good backline pressure, but again, Twisted Minds is just going to sit on the cart. Moonrat, thanks for the 10 months of the tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. That's the exact play. I mean, you're going to eventually have to force out Ramadra's cooldown or all go around, but
10
if
months,
Ramadra...
wow, that's almost a year in
I feel like
blank.
everybody's going to get stuck there. Also, Hazard tried to go up there and then immediately got hit by the Freya shot and was hindered.
Face tanked on the payload, and it looks like
see, the one thing I would say for VP here is like being in Shockwave's position right now, trying to set up on that high ground takes so much time. That, like, that's what's going on right now. See, it's like they're all gonna go flip the map. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're gonna leave the Ramatra on cart, and this is what we were just talking about. That is technically exactly what you want to do. Like that's the correct play. You flip the map, you take the map control, you leave the Ramatra on cart. In hindsight, I'm sure. Like Twisted Minds would say next time, just rotate off of the high ground and flip them back to the point, or something like that, which would still go in favor of VP, but you buy a little bit more time. But that's a hindsight type of play, especially when like everything was going fine up until that point. You know, you don't have to make that quick decision yet. Or I mean,
on Dorado, this is their preferred playstyle going into this series.
The question is Bristola, though, coming in cold off the bench, how's he going to perform in this style? Right? They were playing this before, but they're doing it with Eisnom, and so begs the question, why change? Maybe there's some options Bristola can bring out on the defense or in different spots in the map. KSA struggling so far, though, on
really good spam. Looks like Ramatra's just going to be on the cart blocking. The classic, as you were mentioning. Racer gets out of there and escapes. That's a safe play. VP does have beats. If this window doesn't get any kills, you might see them be aggressive with beat. There it is, yep. Now, you might see simply use Kiriko ultimate now. There you go, there's the ult. Now it's going to be a slow play for both teams. Unless a random pick happens right away, then they'll be more aggressive, which is what kind of happened. There's a random pick there. Psycho now doesn't have any ults. Yeah, I was going to say. Not Psycho, I meant JWoo, and now Twisted Minds holds that. So really good ult usage, really good survivability. I think it really started with the Tracer surviving that. Once the Tracer survives, you can't really do anything. You just kind of have to go in. You feel kind of forced there because you only have a window. And that window is pretty much changed within minutes of what they were doing. So,
this is one of those
spots
where Virtus Pro, it's a little bit tricky for them to get the space
keep
required
it going here.
Up, get picks. They're going to swap over to the Kiriko, who are abandoning the Baptiste here. So this leaves their composition a bit more.
Twisted Minds has really good ults too. Like VP kind of used a lot of their ult pools. So if Twisted Minds wants to play this the way they want to, they'll Juno ultimate, not Ramatra ult, because Ramatra can hold that ultimate for that defensive playstyle. At the same time, it's okay if Ramatra just starts launching the ultimate. That's exactly kind of what happens. Idea here is to zone him. This is like legitimately the definition of a zone ult. So you're looking at that going, wow, that ult got no value. What I see is that Pistola went to go to the backline to trade, and this Ramatra ultimate basically just forced the tank to have to go back. Like, I mean, to be away from the team. And in pro play, they'll take advantage of those numbers. That number advantage is going to be huge. So that's what you're seeing, and that's why it's going the way that it is.
Yeah, and Twisted Minds are getting a ton of value from their composition. Like we talked about, Ramatra, of course, contesting the card, but Juno and Kiriko have been completely
really well played,
uncontested this entire game. Quartz as well with a bola shot here as well, going to pop it. And, they get
a huge pick on the Shockwave. I mean, this could just be... I'll be real with you. This is the Twisted Minds. They are playing very well right now. I mean, even when they got rolled on that, like, that rotation, they're just like, I can see what's happening, right? I can see exactly what's happening. Twisted Minds is standing on the cart, as you mentioned. They're basically saying, hey, if you go for our Ramatra, you're gonna we're gonna just sit on the high ground. So they have to go for high ground, but then no one actually forces the Ramatra cooldowns out. So then by the time they go back and they've done like their map control, the Ramatra's like, yep, I'm still here. And then they just basically waste all their time doing that. And then now there's no time on the clock, and here they are. Yep. Kind of how it goes sometimes, right?
To me, it's kind of a poor strategic choice for this map, or at least for the matchup that Twisted Minds brought you.
Maybe it's not even that they're not confident in their Circuit Royale. They just, I don't know what Twisted Minds' data on Circuit Royale is. Maybe they're just like, hey, we don't like Circuit Royale. We just don't think it's a good matchup for us. What we're trying to do. I think the problem was they didn't do a protection ban. And I think that's kind of like, I think VP would have been very happy if they could run the Diva comp there. And then when you don't protection ban, and then they just ban Diva, which is a great play by Twisted Minds, you're kind of like, you're forced into like a team comp, because you know you're not going to see the Winston comp come out, right? On his bans, you can't even make that happen to begin with. So the one hero that would have been good in this situation would have been the Diva. But maybe they were afraid of like certain comps or certain stuff. Again, usually there's a reason behind it, and it's probably a really good one. Sometimes we don't have to scrim that. Maybe they just scrims. They lost every single Circuit Royale during the week to every team, no matter who it was. Right? There's just things that we don't know, and that usually is why those decisions happen. Or they just decided to just, put a bunch of maps in a hat and just roll the dice.
Only needing
that
to
could be a thing.
Not even to the end of first point. It's an amazing
I don't know if that'd be a good idea, but...
I mean, like one pick or two picks from Quartz could just seal the deal on this map, and that's an unenviable spot to be.
For some reason my stream... Really? I don't know why it does it. I'm sorry. I mean,
So Shockwave now.
Whenever I stream on multiple places nowadays, so it's like if for some reason you have that issue, sometimes people will be able to swap between them to be able to get like, not right now specifically, because I don't want to get copyright strike for like the OWCS music, but yeah, usually I have those options now, so people can kind of, if you're having issues on one of the streams, watch it on
however, it's not going to mean much strategically, right? It does take a little bit of the wind out of the sails, but Card is rolling forward. Like, Twisted Minds are getting what they need out of this fight. Quartz is right back into the fight. It just doesn't change much at all. And VP are kind of just on this defense. They're trying to peek aggressively from the high ground, but Ramatra is just...
Yeah, I've been having more people mention that too. I wonder if like Twitch is starting to slowly like adjust their like server stuff for when they eventually have 1440p consistently, and like it's just causing them to
just walking it up mid. He's so tanky. He's getting a ridiculous amount.
Again, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know how that stuff works. I'll be real with you. Twisted Mind's already taken map control. I mean, VP is in the spot you need to be in this situation to hold, so they're not worried about this right now. They're giving up map control, but like this is their strat. Their whole strat is to hold it right here. So they don't get, VP holds that, and Twisted Minds,
that's a very, very massive pick, I think.
Minute and a half off the clock, and VP's building up an ult pool.
So honestly, Simple kind of gave that one up. I could have just waited out the.
I would not doubt it though if Twisted Minds does a really, really, really fast play right
from Freya. So it's a pretty
I would not doubt it if that happened. Like, it very much could happen.
Yeah, I think realistically, all these fight wins for the pro, okay, that's fine. You know, you take a minute of the time or whatever. The big fight is going to be when Twisted Minds have built the orbital rank.
It very much could happen.
That is going to be a monumentous task for this pro to live through that. It's going to be Twisted Minds' best bet at winning this one, and Cyclo's working the off angle. Oh, and Towards down. This is terrible news for EP.
There you go, huge pulse bomb. Both teams are kind of set up in a unique spot right now. That's the right idea on the pulse bomb play. They're going ult dump. This is an ult dump play. That pick right there on Psycho though kind of changes the decision making here. Yeah, you don't Juno ult. Hey, I gotta give credit. It wasn't looking too strong, but VP is they're holding strong here. Again, this is what I was talking about, where like they need to hold at this statue, and this is exactly that. And they have window. I think Twisted Minds gets aggressive here again. I think they need to get the ult pool out and then just rely on some good neutral team fights, which they've been pretty much winning most of the time. So I think they should just be aggressive here with their ults. VP is going to pop window regardless. Maybe you can wait for the window to be popped and then use your Freya ultimate in that for some follow-up. But, like, I think they're just going to be aggro to force out ults. This might be an ult dump. It's going to be an ult dump already, I can tell. Yep. Ult dump is, we've talked about it, where they're just going to pop a bunch of ultimates and hope for the best. Vistola literally goes in there and gets multiple kills. They have no ultimates left. Yeah, Twisted Minds has no ults on a team fight. They ult dumped. VP doesn't have any ults either, but they have more than enough. A pulse bomb. It's coming down to the neutral. Now, Twisted Minds is probably okay with this because they're in the neutral now and it's kind of like the beginning of the game. All they need to really worry about right now is pulse bomb. But we get a late Zarya swap, and the idea here is to not let their Orisa do the same thing the Ramatra was doing. And this is the adjustment that could win the game for them. Obviously an early pick, but I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. We'll see though. Yep.
Needs to get a lot of kills from the supports. Drone forced. So is the Fortified. They're running out of defensive skills to hold on to this position, and the energy is starting to come in.
It's still really close.
Could be the hero for the squad.
So it's not over yet. That stick is huge. Good job by Quartz by getting out of there, but and Psycho's going to be low here in a second too. I just think, yep, there it is. And I think that's the map for Twisted Minds. And I'll explain in a second what I meant. So remember how earlier I said that the mistake that was happening there for VP was that they weren't really able to push past or like force the Ramatra cooldowns out?
Yeah, it's a great start pick to get
Twisted Minds was the only team in this map to make that adjustment. So when they made that adjustment, that is what made the difference, and it was the last team fight. They just were like, go Zarya, go for Orisa. Their whole strategy is just, have the Orisa wait forever on cooldowns. And when you're playing the other comp, you can kind of like chip away at Orisa, but not as aggressively. So you go Zarya, one of the cooldowns basically gets taken away, which is Javelin Spin, because you can just like left click through it and you just pop off. So good well played, and, good play across the board again. Like, I mean, what else can I say besides good Overwatch by Twisted Minds, great matchup overall. Again, I said if this even was a 3-0, it would be one of the closest 3-0s you've seen, and I think that stayed true. I think that has stayed true to this game so far, in my opinion. The Zarya ban protects Orisa even more, and now you can run the Orisa comp. So yep, that was the correct decision. I agree. And then the BAP ban from Twisted Minds makes it so the Orisa comp's a little bit worse because they ran that. So they're expecting Orisa comp. Does that change it up a lot, though? They ban the BAP. Will that change up their decision-making here? It might. It might change up where they go tank-wise. You might see another Hazard here, maybe? Like, they'll probably start Orisa, but, like, what's your other support? Juno?
I think is probably their best look as a team.
Right?
They could go for the Juno carry, too, if they wanted to really play those long fights, but then without Zarya, I'm not sure.
Without the BAP, it complicates the comp a little bit. I guess you could go on a Brig. I mean, I don't know if that'd be as good.
A lot of options here for both squads, I think.
Kiriko, maybe? Kiriko is good in that.
I don't know what you think about this, Jake, but I feel like on a map like
Juno Brig's solid, but against the Ramatra comp, I think the Ramatra might kind of shred after the cooldowns, but maybe there's enough time in? Oh, no, we'll see. Juno Brig is probably a safe bet, yeah.
Whereas here, I feel like on Aruna Sapi, it's a bit
but I think they might just do like a...
Maybe want to go with a more defensive kind of like break.
Okay, so they went Juno Ayari and then versus Juno Kiriko. I love that we're getting way more variety to where like it's a little bit less predictable. Also, I don't know if you see what I'm seeing here, chat. I don't know if they'll make the swap here, but we are seeing Emongg make a return. So that's where we're at right now.
I think it's maybe a little bit of a bait. Yep. I mean, the unstoppable force of Orisa against the immovable object Ram. Kind of an interesting matchup. I think Gala, though, if he can stay alive on this Alari, should give like the poking edge to Virtus Pro. But it's a scary. Do you want to take a poke fight against?
I'll get aggressive.
That's
I'll make plays.
Here. I wouldn't feel so good about that. Although Gala can maybe.
They do end up switching to Ramatra. I know we got you baited. What's happening for a little bit? Twisted Minds with an early hit, and that is.
Simple kills another. Simple.
if you're VP right now, that's the last thing that you want to see because you needed some momentum, and it's only 30 seconds in. Like, teams lose the first team fight all the time and still dominate the map. But when you're down 2-0 and you need to start to really make some more, make some plays to really kind of get into the game, those type of situations, not as ideal, I must say. Not as ideal, right? So, yeah.
Oh, not the Cassidy, Johnny. Not here. Not against Kiri Juno. Oh, I don't like this. Baby.
Now Sibyl's able to set up with like a really good play, able to get out, almost already has Kitsune due to this early damage output. Like, this damage output by Simple has been unreal. This could lead to, if they can slow down the gameplay a little bit right at the choke here, I mean, Quartz with a pick onto Juno, that's just an easy pick onto Orisa now. If Orisa has to hide in the corner, yeah, I was going to say. So, like, that's the checkpoint. I mean, that's the checkpoint, and, like, they're not even going to get, like, a good, like, they're going to get their spawn, like, benefits not even be that good. Is Ayari an interesting pick? I think Ayari's good if you're set up. I think Ayari makes more sense in general for the first team fight because you can play angles, but once you set up, Ayari will make a lot of sense. The problem is if you're losing team fights, that's where you're not going to see it. Like, you're not going to see that same type of value. That's the problem. So, yeah.
They could snowball here real quickly.
This comp is sus, Johnny, and they're going to try to make it work. Shockwave is low, kiting back from the rush. Pistola left out to dry.
I mean, they're just rolling right now. Even when I think there'll be a time in where VP eventually stops this a little bit, and they might even just start with the pick on Simple like that. I just think that, like, being down 100+ meters already is not the type of, like, matchup you want to be in. And I think what's going to happen, Twisted Minds is going to stay here as long as possible and then disengage out the moment they feel like they're getting aggressive. Drop a Vortex on the way out behind. Doesn't even need to do that. And then reset and then meet, like, right there in the middle here on the Tracer. So if Tracer can get a kill, that'd be huge, but... yeah. This is roughy so far. VP does have a lot of ults though, so they should in theory be able to retake this or like win this team fight here just by ult alone. They're gonna all in the. Oh, it didn't go as well. But the idea was there, it just wasn't locked on as much. So now Ramattra can pop ultimate. There's a Juno ultimate to counter, but now Ramattra can sit in the corner. Actually, one more javelin. I think Ramattra falls over there. I don't think the supports are able to keep Ramattra alive, but again, dies on the cart, and then they just kind of re-go again here.
But they finally get that fight win.
I mean, both the tanks in this are such great matchups, like just like how they play. Both are just so good at tanking.
Yeah, that actually is great because you're going to get some additional push here. But realistically,
but yeah, VP finally.
The fact now the Twisted Minds have a 108-meter lead. That's going to give them this advantage.
VP finally gets some map control. Yeah. Oh, I mean, like I said, they're cool to see. I like watching these matchups. I'm loving this play. They might actually just flank them from the main, which is good and bad depending on how this team fight goes. Because if they lose map control, and there you go, that's a huge pick on the Kiriko. It's getting interesting again because now VP's kind of had their punchback, and sometimes what happens in these matches is that punchback isn't as like good. So like you end up getting like 30 meters in that fat. If VP's able to push this bot and get the checkpoint, that's a good punchback. Problem is play by Juno might have changed that. This was actually a really good play by Twisted Minds. I see this happen sometimes. Teams forget about the cart and they let the other team take the bot, and then now you're back to the middle again where the team fight initially happened. You're going to get about 5-6 meters and you're back to where you were. See? There you go. Right back to where you were. Now the tank's here again, and instead of having like a free team fight and the checkpoint, you now are back into the neutral, just like that. Yep. Yeah, teams are getting better at the bot steals too. I think what's happening now is sometimes teams are recognizing early on that like the team fight isn't going to be won, and rather than sit there trying to grind it out, which a lot of on other maps you would, they just have somebody take the bot, take the team fight away from it, and that just basically gives you an extra team fight. It's happening again. Like, they're just basically forcing out ultimates here. So like VP is going to get the checkpoint now, but now the engagement point is going to be a lot different, right? Even then, they might be able to touch the point. It depends if Psycho survives this. I don't know. Like this could be one more tap of the point. Yeah, they are. They're gonna go for it. Tracer's gonna tap, stay in point as long as possible. Now you have damn. It was like a 2-second difference. They had the right idea, but it was literally just by like a 2-second difference. There's a counter Juno ultimate. You actually might see a really good Ayari ultimate here in a second if the Ayari doesn't go down right away. Psycho goes on again, and now VP is starting to get their bearings here. get a bunch of picks, get the picks after the checkpoint, which makes it even better because now the spawns aren't going to be that instant spawn we talk about. Still aren't going to take the lead with that. They're going to be engaged at around, I'd say, probably the 85-meter mark, maybe 90 meters, depending.
Still have the confidence in the team comp.
Still have a good advantage. VP is going to have to be aggro with this play, I think.
Yeah, when Twisted Minds don't
but yeah, if VP wins this team fight, they should take the lead. So this is going to be very, very close.
You know, into these fights. That fight, for
Probably a
example,
flank from behind
KSH
play.
is not getting beaten down on the point.
There we go. They're at the 90-meter mark. They're going to play it a little bit slower than I expected, so they're going to give up a little bit more space, but they still have the space to give up. Ends up not really getting anybody with that ultimate. Really good job by Tracer to tap. Now you're going to see KSH sort of push up now, and they recognize they need to get there. If they give up the lead here, I'd be very surprised. Now, if they lose the team fight and give up the lead, that's different. But, like, I was going to say. We actually watched a team lose last week on this map because of that exact same corner. What team is Peace on, I think it is? That was the match, and they, like, basically got off the bot right here, and if they just, like, stayed on it, they would have won the game.
Something here for Virtus Pro, but I'm not sure Jay was going to be able to get anything done.
That was really well played.
Sticking with the Ream, I would love to see Twisted Minds bring out like a diva here. Would be like the dream pick for me.
Yeah, it was secure. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because that was a good matchup. That was really cool.
Hold all that frontline
pressure that
would otherwise be putting on other players.
Yeah, and 3 meters is all the difference right now. Twisted Minds got double support ultimate going into this next fight. If Twisted Minds play flawlessly from here on out, they should be able to close out this map. What can Virtus Pro do to really shake things up and try to get a pick?
Oh, what a Hinda. Okay, Shockwave with the kill there. Obviously, KSH is going to be there. And there's the bot. There's the bot flip. That's what it is. There's the bot flip. This has gotten really interesting. Ooh, I actually like this Kitsune. It's very aggressive. And, like, it's basically going to allow you to flip the bot again. And if they end up winning this team fight, it's even better. Although, kind of looks like they've managed to survive this for quite a bit. They actually might even grind down Ramatra here in an unfortunate trade on this one. Actually, never mind. Really good job by Funny Astro to get there. The bot, though, is being pushed. It happened again by JWoo. You see that? It almost happened again. You talking about the ultimate? Yeah, the Juno ultimate? That was good. It happened again, chat.
Double support ultimate that fight. So looking at Virtus Pro, they're gonna have the orbital ray coming up here.
So now, instead of like them being able to get the lead back and create multiple team fights, now again, if VP wins this team fight, they're in a good spot. If they don't win this team fight and they committed this ultimate, that's a different story. You get a huge kill though. You're gonna see Tracer go for a blink play. Might be able to roll out of that or survive. Yep. Good movement by Psycho, though. Psycho's really good at Tracer. Might even be able to get out of there. I think them overcommitting to chase Psycho might actually go in favor of Twisted Minds in a second. Because they have 2 DPS there, they're going to lose space main right now. Watch, they're going to lose all the space they had there. The crab just told you to wait until Monday. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. And I think that's... You got time because we have a couple other spectating, so you're good. And he's probably just telling you that so that way it's easier. Yeah. I think JWoo might have just clutched this for VP. I think we're getting a lead. Yeah, I think VP's about to take the lead with 1 minute left. 1 minute left. I think they're going to take the lead. Yeah, I mean, not even think they are going to take the lead. And Twisted Minds is kind of running out of ult. They got actually no, never mind. They got 2 good ultimates, but I don't think they have enough ultimates to win. What, 3 team fights in a row? So
if you can sustain these ultimates coming in from Virtus Pro,
we'll see.
Actually do have the ultimate economy, but 40 seconds to go, 1 fight at a time. You gotta live through this.
L'Oreal looking for a connection.
You know, the ultimates there have been ultimates, that's for sure. Okay, Twisted Minds is starting to take away a bit of the map control. Quartz gets a huge pick. And now this is where they're going to probably start playing to delay the point unless Tracer picks up a pick after. Damn, they're taking angles everywhere. Tracer's won, they know that. Nice shot by Mantra there. I mean, they can't trade here. Okay, it gets interesting now.
From TM. Well, TM has to get the lead back, right? So.
Yeah, they got 4 ultimates coming up here. Funny Astro's gonna build this orbital ray.
Probably 2 team fights. Yeah, 2 team fights to this.
That's plenty of ultimates. Realistically, you only need the 1 fight here, Jake, and you should be able to close out the map.
By the same token, Twisted Minds have to win like 2, so this is still very winnable for them with the ultimate advantage. They are still in control and could potentially close this series out. Virtus Pro, the Ray is going to be probably the most crucial ult of all.
Here we go.
Still aggressive from Pistol.
Ramatra ultimate, Juno ultimate coming up soon. VP should use Juno ultimate sooner. I don't know if they know these timings, though. I think they're playing trade for trade. There's the trade. Now you get 2 ultimates. Now you pop your Ramatra ultimate to go with the Juno ultimate. If you survive this ultimate now, which you don't, Funny Astro falls over there. Still winnable. Depends on how how Psycho's ultimate goes there, because Quartz just used ultimate. Vistola goes for a huge flank. I think this might be the map. I actually think we might see another map. Great job. VP takes the map, and we're on to the next one. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Welcome back, everybody.
New Junk City. There it is. It's funny because it was predicted maybe there was a chance that VP picked New Junk City. Instead, Twisted Minds picks New Junk City. This should be very interesting.
Like a lot of the times, it was the Ilari shutting down some of those
Very
flanking plays. But New Junk City, Ilari banned. You got to have more tricks up your sleeve for Virtus Pro. We'll see what they do.
Also, I think banning Ilari.
Also, chat, tomorrow I should be co-streaming some matches, but I also need to, like, I have to get some stuff recorded tomorrow also.
Sort of see the vision, but yeah, I mean, mid is rough for Ilari, but maybe the other points could be.
I have to get some stuff recorded tomorrow for a video, so there's a chance, like, I don't,
once
but we'll see.
again, so quite interesting. The Mauga
I do tank
ban
band every map. Kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
VP,
Yeah.
I think it would be quite relevant here because the last time they actually did play New York City, or maybe not the last time, but when they did go to New York City against AwCrap in week 1, they did actually play the Mauga. Now, we've evolved a lot since then.
Dude, I want Jaywu to play Sims so bad right now. I want Jaywu to be checkmated.
Maybe.
It's actually, I think it's actually good here, but I don't think he's gonna. Oh, Shockwave missed the TP. That's so sad. That's actually.
All right, here we go.
Not having the Cassidy out on the TP.
I'm ready. Tamu, thanks for the 22 months of the Prime set. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you.
Important characters to be early to mid.
Oh, well, they have a really good tank who can play. This is not me lagging, okay. They have a really good tank who can also play, like, the Orisa also and flex into that. So this is probably just, like, a comfortability choice for the map. Yeah. Did the Stadium YouTube videos are really fun? Yeah, we're going to keep at them. I think we're going to start getting a steady rotation of, like, I try out builds that we find, try out builds we find, spectating, bingo, all this stuff. It's been good. YouTube's starting to settle into a really fun. I'm happy with it. Still a long way to go. Keep in mind, me saying I'm happy with it doesn't mean I'm content with it. It means I'm going to keep at it. That's how I do things. I always try to improve stuff.
So again, this is both teams' different play styles on display.
It took me a little bit, you know. It took me a little bit to kind of get my bearings on how I want to do YouTube and what I like to do. And I think that's the hardest part about YouTube sometimes too, is just like figuring out how you want to do it. What do you want to run? Like, learned a lot. Yeah. I think we've definitely started to become a better YouTuber on top of obviously being a streamer, which is nice.
Well, Twisted Minds are playing the Juno and the Kiri here.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, a lot of heals in the Twisted Minds comp, but it's pretty hard.
Like I said, VP wins the. I didn't say anything actually. VP wins the first team fight. Twisted Minds had a little bit of percentage, but VP kind of secured the map, and this is exactly what you need as VP. Is you need to start taking some map control, right? You need to start, you know, putting the pressure on Twisted Minds a little bit. Now, Psycho has a different story on that one, saying, you know what, maybe I'll go into the backline and get your supports to 1 HP, and then still lose a team fight. Oh no. That was looking really good. Maybe not lost the team fight. Wait, no, definitely lost the team fight. Yeah, without a doubt. That is, yeah. And there you go. VP takes the first one.
Great play from Jaywu, closing things out there. And just when he thought Psycho had opened up another fight there, dude has just been crazy so far this series. It's going to be Virtus Pro looking good on this Orisa composition. Yes, Ice Dome is in.
Love the bronze bingo. Yeah, bingo will return at some point. It's more of, not even return, it never has gone away. It's just like we do it when we're ready. And I think the views on bingo videos and like the reaction to them are also kind of proof of that. It's like, you know, it's, don't overdo them. Do them when they feel right. Still prioritize getting them done, but make sure they're being done in the right way, and I think they are. We actually have a randomizer video going up tomorrow, which I hope people will like.
Really putting a lot of pressure on him, forcing him off the corner.
I hope people will like.
KSA has to reveal early, but he's not that healthy.
We ended up that might be a fun series too. Okay, the Twisted Minds going in with some ultimates here.
Creating enough space and time. They're letting the ultimate tick out. Beautiful positioning here from.
Looks like we're getting an ult dump from both sides, which is the correct play. You basically want to take this too, but thanks to 18 months of the tier 1. Thank you, Hiimishie. Thanks. Shockwave with an early pick, and VP is going to trade on Orisa, but if they can steal this team fight here, they're in a really good spot because there was a lot of ults used by both teams. So being the team that wins that, like, especially when you're up 1-0, it is huge. And VP gets a pick, wins the team fight. even gets a stagger a limb last second, and now takes the ult advantage too.
By the time they do, I mean,
VP is possibly setting themselves up for a 2-0 right now. I'm just saying.
Get the picks required. 50%
I'm just saying.
They're looking dominant so
it's good happen. Will it? I don't know. But it could.
So far.
And that's the cool part.
Yeah, and KSA kind of struggling without the break. The Arista is just this immovable object, just fearlessly pushing into the backline. And you're so worried about this constant flank pressure that JWoo's putting on. It's a nice recall force though by Quartz. A lot of cooldowns expended there. Shockwave looking to get on a flank of his own, getting very active. Has Brig with him, is creating a lot of space and opportunity. It's a big investment into Shockwave, but so far it's paying off. Now the window in the front line.
See?
Big bola shot.
Shockwave with a huge pick.
Quartz, but
I mean, that's a huge pick. I mean, you're getting the Freya.
Shockwave and Vix are this dynamic duo on the flank, and they are just crashing across this backline. Shockwave getting low though, in a bit of trouble. JWoo, he's been such a hero before. Look at that tracking, so clean, forces the TP out. Now KSA getting no support on the point, and the clock ticks against them. Virtus Pro up 2-0. They are desperate to send it to a map 5, and it is looking very good right now, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, here we go.
They need to change something up here. This is just clearly not working.
Good job by VP. VP reverse sweep, maybe. Okay, VP has pulse bomb coming up. Here's that lag. It's definitely not on my end. It just must be they're having some issues there. Or maybe it is my end. Can't even think about it. This pulse bomb is going to be very interesting to see how it goes.
If they don't get a win on this first fight, Jake, Virtus Pro in a fantastic scenario to close out this map.
I mean, VP has pulse bomb coming up. Try to maybe just stick to Ramantra. Force out the cooldowns early. Nope, never mind. Really good play by Psycho. That's going to basically be a trade on Shockwave, I think. Yeah. JWoo does get a kill, but it's a little bit too late.
But full support's already down at the hands of Psycho. I think Twisted Minds have just done a little bit too much in this round. And that will be VP backing off, letting Twisted Minds take the cap. There's a road here for a run back from Twisted Minds. It's actually kind of achievable when you think about the next couple points, where this game is going to be decided, but it is going to require perfection.
The VP just needed 2 maps to warm up.
Against somebody like JWoo right now is
yep, sometimes it just takes 2 maps and a best. That's how you want to do it. No, I mean, it is true. Some teams take a little bit. Okay, Twisted Minds is going to have Kitsune here. Going to be pretty aggressive with it. I don't think they want to give too much map control to VP, because if they lose one team fight here, it gets really. You're basically forced to ult back the rest of the way, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to be behind. They need to win this pretty cleanly. So one just aggressive ult, even then, an aggressive ultimate if it's not Kitsune, which it was later on. They started off with a Ramantra ultimate. This is the correct play. Don't let them set the tone. They do end up actually getting the point flipped, which might give an extra team fight. I don't think that VP's going to hold the point here. I think they've given themselves enough time to contest the point, and I mean, that 30% actually is pretty huge. That's going to give them definitely one more team fight. And at the very worst, is going to force out one more Twisted Minds ultimate, unless they cannot lose anybody in the neutral. That's the most important part, because that's going to make the decision-making by Twisted Minds a lot different, because the moment you get a pick, you're just like, I'm not going to do it.
From their Ramantra in those tight corridors. And it's them now responding to what Virtus Pro are doing with these Cassidy flanks, right? Let's see how they work around this one.
There it is.
Ultimates on both sides.
Psycho from behind. Oh, this is a terrible spot to be as Gala's trying to hold on to that drone with every last
credit where credit's due. Psycho has been hitting some pulse bombs. Shockwave does get 2 though, so I think that this will be just enough for Twisted Minds to win this team fight. But for Twisted Minds, their only problem they're going to run into, and more than likely they'll win this team fight, I would assume, is their ults. They don't have many ults. VP doesn't either. But they're building their ults, and a high noon to start could be enough to maybe pick up a kill or force them into bad positions. So.
This is exactly the point you wanted to open next.
Absolutely. You get to set up here on the high ground as well, and it's pressure on Virtus Pro to try to get an in on this point. You know, if you send the Cassidy like on a different flank here, there's a lot of distance between the Cassidy Brig and the rest of the team. So maybe your best choice is just to walk up here all 5-man together, and that might actually benefit Twisted Minds and their Juno Kiriko position.
High Noon could be strong here. No cancels for the High Noon, so you can kind of like fearlessly Aura Farm walking down mid, but I mean, he's taking a lot of pressure, just can't quite get up close enough just to pull the trigger on it.
See what happens.
Getting harassed from all sides. Simple slips away on like 1 HP from that flank fight, but he's still alive.
And so Twisted Mind still in control here. They're going to try and get that first cap. J-Woo from the lower.
Okay, so there's the high noon. Now remember, I said that it was going to be about just forcing them out of position. They did that. The support is not with them top left. They've all backed up and just put the tank alone. So then they have two options. You go for the tank or you just kill the support. But what Twisted Minds did right here was actually a really, really smart play. Twisted Minds said, okay, you're trying to make a decision for, like, okay, go for the support, so they just pop Kitsune. Popping that Kitsune gives them a free pick, and now they're in a good spot. And they were able to stagger the Orisa, like, quite well. Quite well, I would say. So, I think they're pretty happy with that.
So you get plenty of value from that Kitsune rush. And again, Virtus Pro, you have double support ultimate here at least. So that rally is going to help you get some positioning for the Cassidy. Amplification Matrix is going to serve you well. But still though, the point cap is like below with the high ground, right? So it's still a bit tricky for Virtus Pro to get maximum value with this.
All right, here we go.
With these ultimates. Twisted Minds have an opportunity to play around it for some time.
Yeah,
I think VP's in a weird spot because, like, you don't want to have to use ult here, and you want to save them because if you lose this team fight, I think VP's going to call don't ult. I think they're going to take ult advantage over point. You're not going to see any ult happen. Yeah, it's the correct decision. It sucks because when you're down in the series, okay? When you're down in the series, you want to, like, always try to get the point, but they knew that from an ult economy, that having the, like, last set of ultimates, as long as you don't lose to something ridiculous here, you got yourself 2 team fights, and sometimes that's just enough in Flashpoint. They're going to have a time in here on Twisted Minds where they're going to build up their Juno ultimate and they're going to be pretty aggressive, right? Obviously, Twisted Minds hasn't even been winning on that side of stuff. What they've been actually winning on, they've been winning on the side of, like, basically getting a pick with a pulse bomb. Can't guarantee that every time. So they're gonna go in the neutral here. They're gonna wait. They're gonna build up Juno ultimate. They're gonna look for the other team to be aggressive at one point. VP that is, and then they're gonna pop their Juno ultimate. It's also why J-Woo is going aggressive on the Juno, is because he's trying to force out the ult. And this is exactly what happens. They actually do force out the ultimate very early, but gets traded on. So very unique situation now where they're going to have to pop the rest of their ultimates, but they're at a disadvantage now because they lost their Tracer. Rista has to use that as a survivability tool on point. Twisted Minds has to surround huge Hinda right there, so now it's going to be a 4v4. J-Woo should be back on point in about 2 seconds. Might go for a Pulse Bomb stick onto the Ramattra, which could turn the tide. It really depends, especially with the Ramattra being that low. But J-Woo gets the pick. You know, interestingly enough, gets the pick onto Tracer and gets traded on, and then Shockwave pops off, hits some shots. And, yeah, VP could be taking this. Could be taking this. Not yet, though. I say that, but then I see Twisted Minds. They have a really good retake right now. This is going to have to be a miraculously well-played, like, just positioning thing for VP. Because they're going to get Kitsune on, they're going to get ultimate. Like, Twisted Minds will use everything right now if they have to.
The massive ultimate disadvantage is so against them in this fight. They could also go for the retake. Here's the rush coming in right on top of Shockwave. He's running out of cooldowns. Desperation Hainu tries to take through everything. Still gets the shot on the Psycho. He's dropping low though. KSA rips the ult. Quartz is low but still alive.
And there you go. As I say that, they make the plays and we're going to the 5th map.
Taking this to a game 5. The hero in their team's moment of need, Virtus Pro. Bringing this one to the limit. An unbelievable fight from Shockwave. That is a career high.
That is crazy.
Shockwave popped
God.
off. And chat, we're on to a 5th map, baby. We're on to a 5th map. I'm ready. I'm excited. We're getting King's Row. It's going to be a King's Row. I'm actually just making that up. I have no idea. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Get ready for map 5. It's gonna be a good one.
I'm not sure exactly when that was. I just do remember that Jay would play the May. Of course, they played the May as well in Champions Clash.
Okay,
that was one of Virtus Pro go-to.
All right, chat, I'm ready. Midtown, last map of this series. Who's gonna take it? I have no idea, but I'm excited to see.
We'll have to see if
I'm ready. It's gonna be a good time.
Bringing out the May here on Midtown.
I'm ready. I'm pumped.
One could be that monkey wrench to throw into the series, especially with the Kiri ban. No cleanse for the May ult. May is kind of nasty when she gets perked up. Like that, no Orisa to fortify. I'm kind of liking the May here. I don't know what's gonna come out.
Any Ilori enjoyers? Oh, Gala's going to hover the Ilori actually. Yeah. So
Mistola on the signature Sigma.
Sigma on defense, and Twisted Minds is running Mauga. I don't know if they'll run the Mauga. It'll probably be Ramattra.
Back to game 5. It's been a team effort across the entire series.
Yeah, we got Torb also. I don't know. This is gonna be
listening
fun.
with Twisted Minds, though. Remember, the
see
series
what
is
happens.
running back against them. How are they going to snatch this momentum back here? On
Let's see what happens. Should be a fun one.
Very quietly, they're gonna be. They're don't make a sound. They gotta lock in here though. Under pressure, Shockwave's on the Tor. Pistola is on the Sig. This is gonna be a withering amount of defensive pressure to try and walk into.
I'm ready.
Psycho on the Mei, but the defenders are split. Who do you wall? What can Simple get done here on the Illari? Can he find that same success that Gala has?
Gala's all the way on the left-hand side.
I was gonna say, Simple's already on the left side here too, so like they're like already kind of setting up on the map. They're like grinding them down.
As much as possible, poking from all angles. How does Twisted Minds walk up here? And
Pylon broken is pretty big here. It's gonna create a little bit of a window here. If Psycho can get this off angle.
Yeah, this angle Psycho's going for. If this can be like, Shockwave has to go upstairs soon.
Pushing him
Yep.
back on the Torb. Now he takes that high ground.
I like that Torb turret.
I mean,
Jay-Woo gets a pick.
But Jay-Woo punishes.
Yep, huge.
Jay-Woo now on the Freya. It's Shockwave on the Torb. I just now realized.
Yeah, because like I mean, obviously Shockwave doesn't want to play Freya that much, but having a player who can play Freya, because you're not running the Tracer here, right? So it makes sense. Usually you wouldn't want to give up the Tracer, but Midtown Tracer ain't that strong in comparison.
He's 800 HP.
So
it's so scary for Simple to play this Illari as well, because you kind of have to rotate with the rest of
well, the Illari ultimate should be better right now, so it should be good. So.
Pro,
Oh, did you, Mega Man? Congrats.
Defensive positioning.
It's a good loot box to get right there.
Angles and able to deal with Twisted Minds, so they're gonna push through. So
sort of like the high ground push.
It's a bit tough, but
I'm loving it. There you go.
Bunny Astro Quartz are incredibly low. They get picked off. Gala punishing. Virtus Pro still healthy, still hitting from all sides. Explosion goes off, but it only takes down the drone. And Virtus Pro building up a full head of steam.
Huge.
5 ultimates. This 1v1 is crucial. Gala gets the connection with the Captive Sun.
Nice play by Gala.
Insane onto Simple. Instantly
wow. This is a really good start for VP, because like they're just not even letting Twisted Minds set up. Now the positive note though right now that I think Twisted Minds does have is they have ults. The problem is where can you find the value with some of those ultimates right now? What they need to probably do is have Freya go in second. So what you would do is have Quartz kind of wait as the engagement happens and go over the top, and then but I mean, oh no. KSA falls over on rotation right there. And I think that has to do with, it probably was like a Mei headshot and like a Freya all at the same time. Like that was just like, yep. But I mean, the closer that VP gets to being able to have all 5 ultimates, the worse it's going to be for Twisted Minds here. But I do think the ult stack for Twisted Minds is going to be good. I think VP can't let them cross over because they know these ults are happening. Like they can't let them get map control to the point. You're going to see an aggressive Sigma ultimate. It's like the only viable strat that would probably work here. I could be wrong. Yep.
Yeah, the multi-core's going
I mean, Psycho gets caught out, so as I say that, they don't get Mei ulted, so the Sigma ultimate staying there is good. They don't even have to do it. Maybe they're going to give them as much time to engage over and then pop ults, but I mean, they're going to all in that room. Like, they're just, it's down to the last team fight, and they have every ult except for Torbo. Right? Twisted Minds doesn't have a Yari ultimate now. Like, they have a bunch of ults coming up, but I mean, VP can lead the charge here. Like, you can just pop a window at an angle, an off angle, right? Pop a Sigma ultimate on the choke, and then try to survive. You can also just use Sigma ultimate as an escape from Mei ult if you do it at the right time. As in, like, as the ult, you hear the voice line, you ult up and get away. So, a lot happening here. Yeah, it doesn't end up actually saving Pistola there, but the lamp does. And I think I can't tell because there's so many deployables getting rolled on who's going to win this. I think it's going to go in favor of Twisted Minds, but it's hard to say. Because Shockwave gets a tank kill. There it is. What a wow. Holy crap, this is an intense match. It is not easy. It is not an easy game.
Yeah, it was just too overwhelming for Virtus Pro at that point. Twisted Minds, they had all the ultimates required. And just getting something as simple as a Blizzard onto the Solar, forcing the lamp, and then getting these initial picks is enough for Twisted Minds to secure the first point. But man, they've dug themselves a hole now. 2 minute 30. to get the second point cap here. Vestola's going to be a very happy camper playing this high ground. Shockwave's over to the Sojourn as well. It's full-on poke from Virtus Pro.
VP still has Sigma.
Twisted Minds, they have to find a way to take this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see some Zenyatta. I'm right there with you on that one.
All right, I kind of like this team.
I'm right there with you.
I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing from TM. They're up in the pace. They're putting some pressure on. Here's Vasola, though, with the flux.
That's a good Sigma ult. That's going to at least force out the kill onto, yep.
There's no saves for Funny Astro.
Then the D.Va now, okay. I mean, I'm sure Vistola's seen that going, hey, wait a second. You're going D.Va? Wait 1 second.
Shockwave playing off of it as well. And it's time to clean up the map here, dealing with Simple in this off-angle flank. Jwoo gets the job done. And Twisted Minds, I'd love to see maybe a faster tempo choice, but what can Simple play here without the Kiriko? It's a little bit of an awkward spot. Maybe the Zen is the best they can do.
Gonna stick on the Zen here. I feel like that's so scary, though.
And Gala is just taking liberties on the flank, right? He's so dominant. Virtus Pro are playing to their strengths, right? They're keeping the pressure on. They're not allowing the attackers to take position. Shockwave piles on the pressure. A rail into Simple. And the spawn camp is on the cards here, Johnny. If I've ever seen a moment for a spawn camp, it is now.
How do you expect this
VP is playing so well right now, Chad. They're just playing aggressive. They're getting up there. They're making plays. They're doing... It's just very cool to see.
It's kind of like only Tracer, so I actually think it's sort of okay to play Zen here. I don't think it's so crazy. You might get away with it because of the lack of mobility on the VP comp.
Even so, I think it's going to be very tough to get value from the Zenyatta, get value from the Discord Lord. Maybe you can build this Transcendence in time. 45 seconds to go, and they've done nothing on this second point, Jake.
Yeah, they've got.
I mean, VP is just playing so well on this map. Now you have window, you have the off angles, like Twisted Minds is catching up on ults. I mean, they still have like. They're gonna dive really aggressively here. I don't even know where this team fight's going. Everybody's everywhere on the map right now.
Twisted Minds licking their wounds just a little bit. Simple, close to that Transcendence, could mitigate some of his passivity. Oh, so low.
This is great positioning by Simple here because you're gonna get a Zen ultimate right now.
Simple has the trance. He can play
and that's why Jay was not going for the pulse, and that's also has Zen ult, falls over. It may not be enough though to like change the game here.
Gotta keep pushing this cart. Quartz with 2. Okay, so in dire straits, Twisted Minds.
I was gonna say, aren't you gonna recall into the ult?
Jwoo cannot quite escape the blast radius in time. And then once again, it comes down to the wire. But actually, I mean, I kind of like the presence of mind from Simple to go down there, trusting that the team has the edge.
Yeah, and now they're going to be in a great position here. Twisted Minds as well. Double support, ultimate their way. They got this Transcendence in hand to deal with the flux if necessary. Both Soldiers players with the overclock here, Jake.
Okay, still have the Zen ult too. Best bet is probably trying to just force one of the ultimates now with... Shockwave does have Sojourn ult. There's the ult. Now wait about 4 seconds, then pop Sigma ultimate on cart. There it is. There's the ult. Goes for the Zen instead. The Zen LOS is that. Somehow. That was an LOS. There must have been like a... I'm telling you, that looked pretty good to me. Okay, unless they got stuck on something, which it could have. Horse is gonna maybe fall over here because they need... Oh, no? Uh-oh, Jay was there. Oh, no. This is such a good series. This is so good. I am loving this chat.
Just when you thought that maybe Virtus Pro, they forced that Transcendence early, which would have allowed Vestola to hit the flux, but the fight just breaks down. It's all over the place. And Twisted Minds, they come out on top again. Dude, insane series back and forth. And now Virtus Pro making a ton of swaps heading into third point defense here. Now playing the Lucio BAP again, bringing it back. But
I think they went to the Lucio to punish the greed. But then Simple went over to the Ana. It's a sick pick. Ana's pretty much uncontested here. Pulse bomb goes
this is so close. I know. It's so good.
Simple, low, gets bursted. Just can't quite get the skills off. Vasola just found the window to get aggressive.
It's like
all low across the board, though. It's like
the whole game here has been VP takes map control, wins team fights, and then when it gets down to the wire, Twisted Minds wins the team fight. But up until then, they're like, I'm curious to see what the scoreboard looks like. Shockwave going with the Widow pick. Now, this is a pick that can be good for a few seconds. It's a surprise. You play back. They're not ready for it. I don't think it's a surprise anymore. I think it's definitely going to go back. Might be a go back to spawn soon and swap to another hero to help with the cart type of situation here. But I guess it's doing enough pressure. Maybe. Huge.
Pops goes the instant shot on the Fixa, dodges the pulse bomb, cycle with another.
I cannot believe that, like, Twisted Minds is going to cap this
To
map.
last point, they're gonna get the full cap in
All
overtime.
3 points
Cannot
captured in
believe
overtime.
it. The way
Can
this
you
game
believe that?
started out,
Holy
the
crap.
silent listen in, the
That was
pure
unreal.
drama, and yet TM.
That was unreal.
Find the
Every
courage to
single
keep
one
on
capped
fighting,
in
to
overtime.
coordinate. I actually can't believe it. After the silent listen in and the 4-minute near full hold, I thought this one was Jover.
You gotta be kidding me, Jake. What is happening? This series is insane.
That was good.
Psycho just out of his mind. That attack.
Oh, there's a scoreboard. Pretty even
Clutching it
now.
up.
Yeah, pretty even. Like,
Unbelievable
this match is
performance.
insane. I know. That's what I'm saying.
This is one of the best.
This is
matches
why it's such a
of
good
the
series.
year
I'm
in
loving
NBA
it.
So far, Jake. This is
the Overwatch that we love to
taking
see.
it to the absolute wire.
This is the
Twisted Minds
Overwatch
coming
that
out
we
on
love
top
to see.
on
I'm loving
overtime
this right now.
On the first point, overtime
This is
the
great.
second point.
This is a good
and
time.
then get the complete cap on.
Like I said, Chad, I like good Overwatch, you know?
Suddenly,
I like
the
good
pressure is
Overwatch.
on the Virtus
Feels
Pro.
good, man.
How do they respond on their own attack here, Jake?
Oh, it's so hard now. You came so close. You thought for sure after the first 3 minutes of that attack, you guys they thought they won, man. How could you not?
Yep.
How could you not?
It was over.
All right, we're gonna have to see now. Virtus Pro.
And why
in the
didn't
comms. We're gonna
Course go
jump in,
Soldier from the
listen to
beginning?
them
Ah,
as they start
strategy.
this
I think
attack.
a lot of it's
Can
straight
they
up just
find
strategy.
Some
It's
momentum here. They need to get started. hot.
their comp made sense. They had a plan. It's just I don't think they expected. Oh wait, listen in. I'm gonna be quiet.
Let's clear one side and then... Long? Yeah. Just gonna... So... Send tray.
Inside left.
I'm going today.
So, we can clear left side and then push, I think.
Yeah.
Juno, keep looking for Juno, okay? Off time.
Juno right side.
Okay, I spin now.
Real soldier.
Chill Levondo.
You kill send. 3.
Yeah, I can go.
Oh, I can.
Full left.
Tray.
Oh shit. One chill.
Wait, come back, main. Next, right side, okay?
I'm coming with. Yeah.
We walk soon. Run on me.
Kill on me.
3, 2, 1. I'm taking the pride.
Nice. Yeah, they're all
Like,
Oh, shooting me. We need
Yeah,
to
good.
get this.
Yeah.
One. I can just hold on. Soda.
Just
Tre.
I can go in 5.
Go behind.
Chill.
Chill.
Ram on me, no form.
Yeah.
I'm going back main.
Yeah.
We need to go harder, guys. We need to kill. Yeah, we walk, look for kills. I can go. 3, 2, 1. Send.
Soda on me.
Ram next, I think.
Gear sec.
I'm out.
Ram.
Yeah. Soda here. Soda. No sola.
Line side.
Juno. We need to go more when we go.
That
can hear the
that call out right there was huge, by the way. So the call out I think some people heard there was we need to go in like harder and like go at them. And the reason why that was the play was because if you watch Vistola was basically playing wrecking ball there. Ended up going in circles over and over again and was like, okay, listen, I'm getting control. We need to go in and get these kills. So rather than like that's what the call out was and that's what the Zen kill happened. It's because basically it was saying like we can't sit here and just keep stopping in place. We need to go in.
Recall force here.
Like, we need to go in. Like, we can't sit here. If we sit here, we will fall over, right? I was also laughing because did you notice the Vistola went to go get a health pack and the Tracer with like 130 HP just came in and yoinked it? Vistola was like, oh.
Some damage from Jay-Boo. Put a little bit of pressure on.
Excellent decision there on the Zen to force out the ultimate. I think Vistola was like, oh.
It's not keeping Vistola alive. He dies, forces the self-destruct. Pulse bomb goes wide. Somehow KSA dies to the bomb.
I think they knew the Zen was the target from the get-go. The problem was the team wasn't committing to the kill. And when you're in these intense matchups, sometimes you just need someone, and I think that was Vistola, to just make a call. And the pressure goes on the shot caller at that point, but if you trust your shot caller and you all commit to it, generally you can have good like plays happen, right? So Vistola's being like basically just go in. If it doesn't work, then like you can blame him at that point. Like okay, like you know maybe that wasn't the play, right? But like you got to be aggressive sometimes. Burnt Toast, thanks for the 13 months of the Prime. So thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Yep.
Shockwave looks for the counter kill, but Vistola gets punished by
exactly.
Cuts him to pieces.
So
and that's a full reset now
that was good call outs. And now this is kind of this happens. Second point, you get stopped. You're gonna get some hero swaps now. The game's gonna slow down a little bit. Serious Factory. Thank you for the 12 months with that Prime sub also.
Yeah, and I think
Game will slow down a little bit now. This is just going to happen. The Zenyatta swap goes. You're going to see probably a beat engage once they get decent high ground, waiting on the Vortex. Maybe throw one over the top here. There's a good shield. Now you just take your time. Eventually there's going to be a beat engage. They're going to look for the Zen. They're going to ping the Zen, and they're going to run in for the Zen. That's what's going to happen. Whether or not they can do that's the question.
They do get the ultimate out of KSA, who's
good defensive ultimate here. They can't even do that beat play. They just got to maintain high ground control. And like I said, the game slows down at this point. There it is. There's the beat. Ramatra's not their target, though. They're going to go backline. Yep. Notice how, you notice the Ramatra's point of view right there? Well, nothing Ramatra can do at that point. You go, yep, well, good luck. Hopefully we win this. Trace is going to go for a flank pulse bomb play. You might see a stick. Doesn't happen. And VP takes it with some time. Okay, it's getting intense. I'm loving it. I mean, they're going to get the point. 3.5 minutes. Now, remember, if VP caps this map with a minute or above, there will not be an attack for Twisted Minds. Okay? If it's 59 seconds or below, Twisted Minds would have an attack, and so would VP. So that's being considered right now. This is going to be a very aggressive play. It's being considered.
From Virtus Pro has worked beautifully when they commit, and the backline as well. They're rotating with the front line, making sure they are not punished.
Yep.
So that is the big question for Virtus Pro once more. They're still on this Juno Lucio. Or are they going to double down once more with this orbital raid coming up?
Big damage on a Simple, getting massive heals though from Funny Astros immediately ready.
What happens if it draws? If they got to that point, they would play another map. That's why it's called First Two. Like first 2-3 is because of that. If there's an opportunity of a draw, it enables another match. Twisted Minds doesn't feel too upset right now because they can pop a Zen ult on cart. The problem is let's get a little bit laggy there. Okay, that's on me though. Oh boy, that looked rough.
So now Twisted Minds starting to look pretty stable. Transcendence in the back pocket. Shockwave the OC. Can he find
there it is. I mean, huge shot by Shockwave, especially during a Zenyatta ultimate. They don't even have Ramatra ult behind, so Pistola gets Pulse Bomb out, gets a kill. I think that VP should be able to turn this fight. As I say that, Simple gets a couple kills, or gets one kill. Now, this is where it's going to be very interesting to see the reaction. Twisted Minds as Ramatra ult. VP probably knows this. You just be aggressive with beat right now and just go right at the door? Part of me would say, yeah, you could do that. Other part says, see what happens here with Pulse Bomb. Okay, well, that makes that decision easier. Tracer has no recall. They're going in. Yep, there's the beat play. Yeah, they're taking away the map. They know, but the thing is, Ramata's going to ult on point anyway, so like, but they've gotten the rest of the team forced out of there, so they can all in Ramatra right now. Oh my. But now look at Pistola's HP. Oh. It's so close, but they hold. And now Twisted Minds takes the ult advantage too with a minute 30. Oh my.
Barely just finds enough time to stay alive. Purchase enough time for Twisted Minds to get back and contest the card, and now Twisted Minds in a great position. They got the overclock, the orbital ray. Simple's coming up on
I love what I'm seeing, chat. This is great.
They only have a minute, and they're in a serious ultimate economy disadvantage right now, Jake.
And the Ana can do so much. One nade here could end it. Big rail into KSA, forces out that form. They're trying to put a lot of pressure on him, trying to get that ray out. Here's the OC coming up from Quartz. Has a bit of opportunity to put a lot of pressure on Basola, dropping low.
Juno ultimate coming up though. Quartz gets the kill. They're going to back away now. VP's going to back up.
Beautiful by Simple. Support ult still being held onto by Twisted Minds, saving them for that final fight.
I mean, ult-wise, VP's going to have a slight ult advantage now, so it's going back the other way. I mean, they should, on paper. The only problem they're going to run into is the Ana grenade. If this Ana grenade is good, it is going to be good. As in, like, it could ruin a whole Juno ultimate. And they got the map control for it. They're waiting for it. They're going to nano, too. They're going to nano Ramatra. I love that play. Being decisive. They have to save Pistola now. Ana grenade is used. There is one in the Ana grenade. It is the Juno, but they survive it. And now they're stuck. Now I think we're getting. I think they're gonna cap. They're gonna cap, and we're gonna see this map go even further. I think it's down to Psycho to be able to delay the point, but I think some of the cooldowns from Psycho are out.
You can make this whole Twisted Mind Psycho one last stall, one last contest, but it's not enough.
It's more map.
And this is a cinematic match. If
it's more map.
Johnny.
What a series! Also, after this game, chat, I gotta go feed Luna. I can hear her meowing downstairs. She's like, "Where are you? It's 5 o'clock! It's 5 o'clock, where are you?"
And that just wasn't enough. Twisted Mind's
I know, Luna. I'll be right down, okay? It'll take me a couple minutes to feed him. Be like a routine I gotta do.
1 minute apiece here, Jake.
It's so easy to find the mistakes, right? Because both teams are, you could just feel the intensity of the emotion in this match. Both teams want this. They want it to be decisive. They want to, although this isn't to qualify for EWC, mentally, that's how it feels. This is really that team that you are vying for that spot against.
Luna is
the
also a
team that
cat,
do or
yes.
die against.
She just is currently downstairs, and she doesn't usually come upstairs. She usually just chills down there. Yes. If you go to What a Swell Cat, you can see some of that. Speaking of that, if you haven't followed the What a Swell Cat Instagram chat, we're going to start posting much more regularly on there, and it's going to have some fun edited stuff too. So if you like cats, you use Instagram, check out What a Swell Cat, because we're bringing it back. I even have my editor working on some stuff for it, so we're going to have a good time. We're starting the cat influencer arc. All right? I'm going to be a streamer and a cat influencer and a YouTuber. All right? Here we go. You wanted to go to bed after this series for so long, but you're not complaining? I'm not complaining either.
Gala and Shockwave can get a lot done here, but they can just as easily be cleaned up by a team rush. This off-angle flank hold is so critical.
They have the same strat. One thing that Twisted Minds did do here is they tried to gain that control point, and instead it didn't go well. And now there's
no chance for them in this fight. They need to get out.
To be honest with you, I don't know how it's going to go because they're trying to rush in really fast. I definitely think Twisted Minds can tap point. Okay, they recognize the sim swap. They're going to back up now. They're going to back up. They're going to give a choke, which they have to do, or they try to disrupt this TP play. Actually, that's the play. Disrupt the TP. There it is. They know where it is. They make it through, but there it is. A huge pick already. That was an excellent decision. They just AoE'd the area. Still got slowed down enough, though, to where this could get interesting for both teams. But, yeah, there's the push by Pistola. Don't give up a tick. If you give up a tick, that could get interesting, too. All right, chat. Step 1 has happened. Step 1 has happened. If VP doesn't cap this, you get another map. Just want to point that out. If VP doesn't cap. We'll see what happens. But yeah.
Stops Twisted Minds from everything they want to do. They get a late stagger. And realistically, that last point,
and Revs, thanks for the 20 months of the tier 1. Thank you, thank you.
You're not
thanks for 20 months.
Because you put yourself in a hole, you're closed off in that room.
There's just no time.
What a great series this is, chat. I'm loving it.
From all those different angles. So Twisted Minds really weren't able at all to execute a single fight the way they wanted to because Gala found that pick. So a huge individual play from Gala, which now gives
you want to draw?
Here.
Either way, I got to go feed the cats after this one.
This series is theirs.
So they can absolutely do it. Their first offense was amazing. Twisted Minds. This is their last chance. What do they put all their chips in on? Looks like it'll be the Ana. I like this choice,
I'm
actually.
ready.
I think the Ana, one big nade here, and this attack comes crumbling down. VP, gotta think about what they want to do. With only 1 minute, you don't have much time to think. You can scout the enemy comp, but you have to make a snap call on what you're gonna end up playing. See the positioning here for Twisted Minds. They're considering how they want to play this. I think the Ana.
So can you get the drops in my stream? I do have OWCS drops
to make
now,
this defense, or for it to fall
seems that as long as I co-stream during the weekend, I should be able to get
find yourself in trouble. VP.
But do we feed them?
Will it actually be the sim? Will he swap over to Tracer?
Both wet and dry. Just depends. Luna has like certain food she needs to eat, so they just have they all eat different foods. They're very picky. Sully has his own food we give him. Arnie just eats whatever. Luna needs a special Luna needs like a special like food because her tummy gets upset if she doesn't. Oh, that's a huge Ana grenade. I don't think it's enough to get a... Oh, it does. Oh, my. That's the first kill, but they need to, set up now. The thing is, it's not over yet. They're just going to go trace... Jay was just going to go Tracer now. Out of spawn. That's what's going to happen. Right? Because you've already set your team up there. Now you have to go to the point. I mean, they've kind of given up map control, but they do get lamp out. That is a stagger and a half. I don't... Pistola might go down. We might get another map. Nope. I can't tell. I think we're getting a 6th map. We're getting a 6th map, chat, I think. It's happening. We're getting the rare map 6, chat. It's going to another map. Let's go, baby. We got another one.
Unbelievable series we have on our hands, Jake.
Map 6. It is so rare to get that in these modes. To get a draw.
Absolutely.
This is some Overwatch. I'm going to go feed the cats, and we'll be right back, chat. Here, B. Also, you're going to see a really rough ad timing, but it will be good because you're only going to miss like a minute. All right? But I wanted to make sure we didn't get the full match taken away randomly.
To like 3 meters or something, but
yeah, but like actual
yeah, delves are fun. I do them. But WoW is a very super chill game, exactly. And I'm just more. I'm very.
All right.
The way I do things is how it just. WoW chills me out a bit. It's not a bad thing,
bro. Oh my, this is wild.
But it chills me out. I've tried streaming it. Sometimes I just want to put on some loud music and just chill. Heck, half the stuff I write for YouTube, I straight up just do while playing WoW and just listening to loud music. I'm one of those people that, like, for some reason, I actually will do better with, like, writing a script when I'm just listening to loud music. So, yeah.
But Psycho was incredible on the Tracer. Now, true, Royale, different dynamics, of course.
Anders, thanks for the gift this up. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you.
This is going to be
all right, Twisted Minds making a swap here. You said, I think this for Sim. I think they're going to do some Sim teleport strats and maybe shift into, like, May, is my guess. Maybe that doesn't quite fit what they're looking for the team fights. Yep. That's kind of the read I get on that one. I could be wrong. Again, I'm still kind of picking up on things again with that stuff, so... But yeah, Twisted Minds, pretty early, clean team fight.
More straightforward style, and they're like, we get torqued on the sim and we spin
the emongg 2 streams were a chill time when I did those, but you get it. Yeah, I agree, but I think I'll incorporate that type of stuff better as I move to my house. So, like, I might still do that stuff, but I gotta step it up. I'm moving to my house. I've been hyping this up. I gotta really start putting on some shows.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give y'all some good streams.
Sojourn, relatively quiet so far. Not so much been built up. Simple under a lot of pressure, has a lot of work to do.
Oh, you just like the game ace, heck yeah.
Forced out. The key defensive tool.
Oh yeah, they're both great tank players. Yeah, exactly. Very close to that could be a bit of a problem. Right now they're gonna be chill for a little bit. Both teams can kind of relax here. I love that we're seeing the Lifeweaver BAP. It's a really good combo. What an ult. That ultimate alone is gonna get out a lamp. Unfortunately, though, just doesn't get anybody. And yeah, I mean, Twisted Minds with a pretty clean first point. Wasn't much of an issue for VP outside of that one situation we just saw there with the good Freya ultimate. Ooh, we're getting some venture. So the idea behind the venture now is to disrupt, right? Whether that's disrupting the backline, disrupting the sim teleporter. It's designed about going all in on the team, so don't be surprised to see a really fast window take here with the venture. Like, the venture won't go behind the window, just you're going to be aggressive at the same time.
And so I'm curious to see how VP take this. They need to pressure UB. They need to find the kill on this sim, but not easy with Funny Astro and Simple right behind him.
And there you go.
Twisted Minds looking very stable.
It's Jeff, that's planned. Yep, that is planned.
Through the wall, the beat as well. The M-Matrix getting nothing done.
They say with a huge pick. Well, planned for when we're ready. I mean, I'm going to be real with you, chat. It's looking more and more like we're not moving at the house.
Annihilation is just impossible. I mean, KSA is cooking.
Yeah, Twisted Minds are just exploding with this composition. Virtus Pro.
Really good pick.
Just when they think they're about to get an honest
and who had Venture versus Sim on Circuit on their bingo card. I mean, it's a smart pick. I mean, it really does disrupt like the strategy that Twisted Minds is going for. Its question is, can you disrupt? You're going to get Vistola ultimate here, so I think Twisted Minds will... It might not back up. You might get a Sim ult from spawn and just be put there. But it looks like they opted. There was an option for that, but yeah, you definitely want your Sim there to shred the other Ramantra during this ultimate, especially. Probably a sim wall alt play here. Pretty typical here.
Position is strong for VP. And JWoo now over to the venture.
Yeah, but that's if you add to the play. There's the play. We knew this was coming.
The sim on the point. How do you contest this?
The Stola does have ultimate coming up, so like if they can, I think they just survive it. I mean, straight up, I think VP just survives that. Like, now they can just be aggressive with Ramantra ultimate. Even one kill. It's interesting because they flip the map. Like everybody's everywhere. Like if you were to like watch this with no context of who's on attack or defense, you probably couldn't figure that out. Like there's a BAP. Twisted Minds is now on defense. VP is now on attack, it feels like, and here we are. We have a BAP in the back line, battling a BAP.
Can't quite find it, and it's a beautiful stall from Jwoo to make all that possible.
Yeah, 0.9
And there you go,
meters.
chat. VP gets the point at 0.9 meters. They hold it at 0.9. Banshee, thanks for the 59 months of the tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. That is almost a year. You're right. Appreciate it.
With this Ramatra, Lucio BAP, and Twisted Minds, you gotta say, that was a very awkward fight for them. They're trying to land
It's happening
these
some
picks,
good
trying to
Overwatch.
spread out,
What's happening right now? Feels good, man.
the angles, but
I'm loving it.
not
I'm loving
finding
it.
success now at the Jwoo. Makes this pretty surprising swap over to
Instant
Venture.
burst. Great ultimate from Gala. Punishes Funny Astro with the instant combo rail. Great coordination from Virtus Pro. It's gonna
2
be
minutes on the
enough for
clock, so
one
they've
kill
already
to
gotten
send
3
Twisted
minutes
Minds
off
packing,
this
but
clock
they lose
specifically,
anybody else. There's
because it was
not
at
gonna be
5
that
minutes when they
big farm
capped.
charge that you would have
Venture
brought
Ultimate can be really aggro here. You can actually get some really cool ultimates with that. It just, I think what the problem is, you have to wait for the TP play, and then you ult, and at the very least, you just don't trade. Am I doing anything good? How about you? I'm just vibing.
So many things going for them. Sound barrier,
Like I said, more of a chill day. OWCS days are very chill days out of me, where I just kind of watch matches, talk about random subjects throughout the day. It's a good time. We actually probably should, oh crap, if you're there, by the way, post this VOD on YouTube. This is an unreal match. It definitely works. Great play by Shockwave right there. I mean, this is just good Overwatch. Like, I don't even,
field. They can reset pretty quick with the sim comp, and they are building
I'm
towards
glad- I'm glad to
nice
hear that,
advantage
Banshee.
in
Heck
this
yeah.
next fight. Yubi, I think, with this
Heck yeah.
sim wall is going to be a key difference maker.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Now, though, you've built those ultimates, Jake, so Shockwave using that overclock to win a fight, that's fine. Now, KSA pushing with the Annihilation.
okay, got it.
Big ulti trying to hit the backline is Jwoo, but the beat comes down. Jwoo going to struggle to get any more done. Much better beat, though, from Fixa. Isn't enough to turn this fight around. Yubi healthy. Here's the bowler shot.
Here we go.
Pistoli just tanks it, soaks it on that tanky base, and now Yubi close that sim wall. KSA has lived forever with that ultimate Amp Matrix from Simple. Surely this is too much pressure for the defenders to hold. Drone forced out. Yubi dancing with death here into the back line.
I mean, this is just gonna, I think Twisted Mind's gonna grind him down. It's overtime anyway. This is where Twisted Minds thrives. That's it. Just that's it. That's the point. I maybe they can get a kill on the back line, but like that's a maybe. Yeah, there you go. Would I prefer to enter a tournament to Rivals or Overwatch worth the same amount of money? Can I be real with you? I enjoy watching the tournaments nowadays. Playing in them, maybe a couple one-offs here and there, I'm totally fine with. I don't mind, a fun Marvel Rivals, a random like streamer tournament, things like that. But I like watching them right now. Okay, so VP is going to be aggressive here. There's the Ramatra ultimate, which ends up being pretty dang good. What's not going to be shown there is that was a really good Vortex too. Gets the kill, and now they can hold the choke. And this is where VP's been shining, is when they can hold these chokes. So we'll see how it goes. It's not as easy, right? It's not as easy, I would say. And what I mean by that is, I'm trying to think of a way to explain this.
Shockwave would love to catch backline. He doesn't want to
the sim teleporter will make it difficult to just hold the exact choke, because then you get the map flipped on you. Sorry, that was a great shot. I agree. I mean, that was as good as it gets for taking that point.
Could be vulnerable for the repush. Here it comes from Twisted Minds. Surging forward is KSA, straight to the backline. Very healthy still. And trying to clean up even Bastola, the TP behind Bastola just going to go.
I mean, Sojourn's the least of the worries right now of the sniper.
Lucio trying to get anything done, but
okay. Last team fight coming up. Twisted Minds has 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 ultimates. VP is not in that same scenario. I think they need Shockwave to pop an ultimate right away. Like, just when you get out here, just pop your ult, force them back to buy time for the rest of the team, and that's what's going to happen. They can't be ulted on first. That's going to be the problem. They get ulted on first. They get ulted on first.
The ult is perfect. The window over the top of the cart. Fix is trying to disrupt it himself, but he gets smoked by Simple on the high ground. The beat comes down. The Annihilation.
See, we have the information there, right? Like, I can see the timer. If VP doesn't ult that first, they are going to get ulted on like they just were. And that's why they got ult stacked. Again, I'm not saying that Twisted Minds wouldn't have reacted with the ultimates, but I'd rather have Twisted Minds have to do a reactionary play than be the aggressor there, and they basically were the aggressor. So obviously it's not as simple. So
opening things up.
Yeah.
16 and 4 is Quartz so far, 9,000 damage. With that Freya, I thought it was a really well played attack by Twisted Minds, Jake. I think they had a great presence of mind, how to take those fights, when to invest their ultimates. And it looked really clean, finished with 11 seconds to go on a map, which has been kind of difficult to complete here, Jake. Virtus Pro It's going
All
to
right,
be
cool.
really difficult for them to match what
Did Twisted Minds got
accomplish.
into the position 2 above the card? Yeah, it was just a good play. I mean, Twisted Minds. I don't think this match is over. I think like
This is good.
that is the first round of a really cool series. Let's see if VP is able to kind of bring it back. I mean, is it possible? Yes. Is it impossible?
Idea to go over to the
Might
venture
not
to be
happen.
able
We'll
to
find out.
stall and delay the cart through some of those critical moments where the sim wall's down and just
see.
you cannot fight. You have to just hide, and at least Venger can stop the cap from coming through. Maybe on the offense, VP can find something a little bit more purchase. On defense, Sim maybe is a little bit more awkward. You know, you don't get to control the plays as much. The attackers have a little bit more agency. Gala looking for some kind of nade. Jwoo maybe just going to drop a Sonic just to see what they're up against.
All right.
See
Can
how they
VP
play
do
this,
it?
though.
Is this first
We're
of
going for more
3?
poking
No, this is
style.
first of...
Jwoo's actually
Yeah, no,
going
sorry,
for
yes. It
adventure
is first of
again.
3, but we're on map 6. They didn't even update it up top to say map 6, chat. I'm
Other
mad.
than the mirror, and I think you don't want...
Only
you
we
don't
know
want
it's
the mirror
map
if you don't know
6.
what you're doing. It's better to play something that's a little bit more comfortable. And the defenders is maybe a little bit more awkward for them. Vasola takes the drone very early, but Yuumi is high energy, and here he goes. He's starting to cook. Getting those heals, getting that support from Bap Lucio. Makes him into a real menace. Twisted Minds got to be careful. They don't want to overplay their hand, but that's a nice lasting pick here from Fixet. Maybe even they could get one more. It's a risky pick. I don't think this is a good risk to take if you're Yuumi, and he's going to back off the play. But that's a very strong opening fight. VP, it's very scary. You drop that Ram shield, and there's nothing you can do. Sim is going to be max energy.
Venture on attack. It's such an interesting strat because, like, the amount of map control you need to get the full value is so difficult, but it's so fun to watch when it does happen. It's really cool.
To these offensive players, and big shots in for court is enough to take down Fixa. Here he goes, looking to punish Jwoo. Counter shot from the Bola. Does it find anything?
Yeah, see, Twisted Minds is playing aggressive. And just controlling the map. This is really smart. This is such an interesting duel right here. Well, there's just an Ayari, like, or a Sim running in, like, the front door. There you go.
They're just taking it to them.
Oh, no. Oh, wow. Quartz just pretty much got out because of that play. All those kills right there, like...
Now they're getting aggressive. This is getting egregious. KSA's at the spawn door, bro. This doesn't even make sense.
Rough start, but, I mean, we saw VP do this to Twisted Minds, and then Twisted Minds capped the map, right? This can happen.
I mean, actually, I do think this is better against the Sim because Ramatra Mirror is, like, impossible. You get free energy. But here's the Air Matrix. Even Arisa surely is not tanky enough to weather that storm. But the counter Matrix from Gala, maybe it's enough. Both drones forced. KSA having to back off.
This is awesome.
Ultimates, though, 1 for 1. You kind of take that in the dominant position you're in for Twisted Minds.
Twisted Minds has 4 ultimates here, Jake.
They have so many. I mean, the Sim wall is going to be just
Seriously, what a
tremendous in this
match.
type of a fight. Bola shot again from Quartz. Goes wide this time. He's deep in the backline.
And there we go. VP finally breaks out of spawn a little bit. I mean, obviously they're going to win the team fight here. But they break out of the spawn enough to where they can get some map control now. Obviously, Ramatra is going to sit on the cart and do this.
And with 1 minute 30
Yep.
on the clock, VP
But that's a lot of time off the clock.
But that was actually
What is VP's ultimates looking like right now? Decent.
into a room and didn't get the sound barrier.
After ultimate, this is a
TP'd
tough
into
combo.
the enemy spawn, so I'm gonna say that's not on Funny Astro. I'm just gonna go.
Was
ahead
either
and
team
call
a
that
favorite
one
coming
out.
into this?
Lucio wasn't ready for you guys
I would
to
say
be in the
50-50.
enemy spawn.
I think both teams are like. There's a reason why they're second and third right now. I think both these teams are right there. They're just top 3. You know. This is what you get when you get good Overwatch. This could be a finals matchup at one point, or a semifinals matchup type of thing. Obviously with AQ being as good as they are right now, but you know what I mean.
Gives them a little bit of an option how to play around this, dancing on the wall, very awkward.
They actually
Ultimate as well,
properly disengage that ultimate. They have like 2 more seconds here to make it work.
Still alive, still ticking
So
away on
if
that
they
ultimate.
survive this,
Maybe
that
they
TP play
TP
was
in the
actually
back
really
was
strong.
simple. He's in the back. He's smoking them
Yep,
on the
Vistola's kind of forced into the ult, which does get a kill. And they might be able to train a Ramatra. There's no Nemesis for him, and the shield kind of gives that away. So if you can wait an extra second here and just get on the Ramatra, they're missing the time, and they're going to go for the Freya instead. But Freya ends up getting a kill, and now Shockwave will get traded on.
Shockwave gets it done. Quartz is hanging back, making space from the range. And KSA,
They updated it to say map 6. There we go. I feel better now.
Coming back on the sim is going to be one final fight, one last chance for Virtus Pro. It's only the M Matrix, but the aggression once again from TM.
This is
over the
ridiculous.
top.
I
Simple. He's
think they're
low.
going to trade
He's in
Baps.
drone. No skills
I could be. Nope, they didn't trade Baps. So that might be it. I think Twisted Minds took the map. What a game. I mean, I don't even.
And Twisted Minds in map 6.
What a series. We got to see a map 6 in OWCS. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Done.
Wow. Okay, chat. I need to do something very quickly
Of
here.
the year in EMEA.
Holy crap, what a match that was. That was unreal. That was awesome. Like, that is good Overwatch right there, baby.